capital wasn't as easy to come by. You could say that. So our quality of shit was just not good.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I definitely want to do it, but I just don't have
That's
the time
right,
for
I
it.
forgot.
I hit you up about
Yeah.
it not too long
What, you
ago.
want to start your own?
Yeah.
What happened?
Nice.
That was like 2 years ago.
Just time.
You got a
and
lot of shit to say or what?
it's not even so much about what I want to say. I want to have like a community type podcast where we like can go to businesses and shoot the shit like you would in a. You're so gay. I hate you.
Like what? So you go to the
But
business
like,
and what?
yeah, we just talk about shit like, and I mean anything. The politics. We talk about raising kids. Talk about financial investments. Talk about whatever.
So you must be social personality. You have to be.
I mean, I am the most extroverted introvert you'll ever meet.
Why do you say that? What do you mean? What's that?
Because I have no problem being social and being out there, but once that
Yeah.
meet is done, it's done. It's like done.
Cheri's probably one of the easiest people to get along with that I've ever met in my life.
That's
life.
true.
Really?
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
It's just, I don't know, it's odd. You know what I mean? There's not many people, like you've worked with me at a professional level. There's not many people that I don't know. I don't even know how to explain how well I work with her.
You're just on the same wavelength when it comes to work.
Yeah, but even if we're not, bro, like I never sent, like, if she tells me like that I'm wrong about something,
Yeah.
usually I get pretty combative, you know what I mean? Because I think it's because I don't trust who's telling me that I'm wrong.
Right.
And I don't know, I feel like anytime there's like a difference of opinion on something, I can usually submit pretty easily if I'm actually wrong, which isn't often, but
That's good. That makes a good team.
I mean, it goes both ways, though. Like, I'm not the type that's going to tell you you're wrong, and then you tell me why you're not wrong and not being willing to, you know, look at the viewpoint from a different way and see if maybe there is, like, some cohesiveness between the two of us where we both might not necessarily even be right or wrong. We might just be a little off the marker.
somebody's always right. Somebody's always wrong.
That's ego.
That's ego.
That's ego.
You know what's funny is I was thinking about that exact phrase yesterday and just thinking about the Gotra podcast. You know, like after he said that, it's so easy now to like spot when your ego is fucking,
Right,
you know,
right.
pushing you down the wrong path.
Right. I mean, at the end of the day, we all got to humble ourselves to grow. That's what it's really about. I mean, am I still the best at what I do? Of course I am. Ain't no one gonna tell me otherwise.
What is your title?
Director of Operations.
Did you recently get that? I thought Matt.
Matt is the COO. So
Chief-
Matt is
what's
my
that,
boss.
Chief Operations Officer?
And I am the Director of Operations. So I
Where did
am
Platt go?
below CO. He's being utilized other places, put his strengths to work,
Nice.
strategy and stuff like that.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
Director of Operations. It's such a baller ass
It
title.
is. So where were you before that? Like what? That's obviously a promotion for you.
Canvassing.
Yeah.
No.
I was not canvassing. So I actually started
I
back.
mean, I remember seeing you in the office. I just didn't know who.
I started back in recruiting with Bobby Whitney.
Nice.
He hit me up. We was out. He was like, "Why don't you come back?" Jay had already previously like kind of hit me up and asked me what I was doing. But during the time I was taking like a year-long hiatus, my life got turned upside down. You know, Fresh Prince reference, and I lived
Why,
through
what
it. I left my partner of 11 years.
Oh yeah, let's get into it.
But that's
That's
not
a
the
long
important
time.
part of the
Hey,
actual
sometimes you just
conversation.
gotta do that, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, we can go back around to that if you want. But so I came back recruiting, and then I ended up with Leo doing some stuff for building out
HR
funding,
or-
and it was more like of a funding, finance type role.
Yeah.
Then I was offered the position, so I took the director of operations role, and hopefully it's
congrats.
a good fit for me. Thank you.
Of course it's gonna be. You're gonna fucking kill it.
I
You got
that's what the plan
You got a
is.
strong team too.
I do have a strong
Milton,
team.
Dave, Joe. Those
Yeah.
guys are fucking rock stars.
They all are rock stars, and that's the whole thing. Like when I was presented the opportunity, I'm like, not only is it a great opportunity to build and grow the company, but it's also a phenomenal opportunity to like work with people that I really truly like honor and
Right.
respect, and have seen their growth, have worked with them for a decade, and so it's good. It's good to see it all come to fruition again.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I love being around the office and seeing just like all the OGs. Like we've been like through the best and worst of fucking working for a company, watching it grow, watching it fall.
Oh, so you were there since day one, like, or
I started with
With the old
Alliance in
school?
2012.
okay, yeah.
Yeah, she's OG.
Nice.
So I've been with them for a while. I ran a department and, a couple of different things and, grew without them and then, grew within the organization and then moved on to do some other things and came back. It's a great culture. Like, I'm blessed to have the opportunities that I've had since I've been there. The people that I've met, the networking I've done, it's invaluable.
Yo, it's so strange talking to people outside of the company about the culture because we sound crazy. Like, bro, this sounds like some sort of weird cult.
It does.
Like, and people think that it's difficult for them to believe, to the sense, to the extent where they think that I'm being disingenuous. When I tell them like, all right, bro, you're just trying to look good for the boss, and it's like, yo, it's not like that at all.
It ain't even. Yeah.
Like, imagine you tell people, yeah, at the end of every meeting, we say a fucking pledge. Like, that's so weird that
Then we
do
sacrifice something.
I mean, it is a little weird, but like
that.
at the end of the
fucking
day,
dead
like that's
You got to prick your finger. Everybody touches blood.
We drink the body and blood of Jay after every meeting.
Yeah.
that just took a really odd turn, but yes.
So your
Yeah.
ex cheated on you?
I mean, I'm beyond multiple other things. I mean,
So right
Smooth
turn.
segue.
beyond multiple other things, yes.
I'm just
Nah, it's fine. I'll share with you. I'll tell y'all. What, you want to know what it's like dating in your 40s?
Nah, you don't have
yeah,
to get all personal.
Great.
Guys suck. People suck in general.
People do suck in general. I don't really think
They
it's
look out for
even
themselves.
a guy-girl thing. I just
right.
think somewhere between the last generation and our generation and the generation
Why, was
behind
your
us,
ex
it's
young?
just, nah, we the same age.
Oh.
You probably know my ex. I wouldn't doubt that you
There's
do.
1,000% chance he does.
But yes.
Yeah, we
so
have to name names.
we don't have to name no names, but he took living life and being outside the house as more of a priority. And he favored his career, which is nothing wrong with that because I was his biggest advocate to grow. But, kind of thought he was just going to do what he wanted to do, and it just didn't work out that way. So
you're better off?
yeah, no, most definitely. I got a job making decent money, and then I put a little bit aside during COVID. I bought a house, and then I parted ways. I did it the right
There
way.
you go. Absolutely.
I did it the right
Wow.
way. So
Independent.
it's not even about being independent. It's about when you got kids, what else you gonna do?
How many kids you have?
I got two. I got a 15-year-old boy and
Yeah.
an 11-year-old girl.
It's hard, man.
It is.
Relationships are hard. People are hard.
I'm hard right now.
I'm hard right now.
Why did
I
you
guess-
just say it
I guess
exactly after?
cheers to that.
Like right after I said it, you just repeated it, bro.
Life is hard. Everything's hard. That's good that you're in the right. It sounds like you're in the right mindset.
Oh, it took a lot of growing. I mean,
Yeah.
That's
I'm sure
crazy
they
to
can
think.
attest to the fact that I was a little more of a loose cannon back in the day. It took some time to get
What do you mean?
myself
Okay.
together.
I say a bit
Rough around the edges.
rough around the edges,
Yes.
probably the perfect term.
Why
But
is
that's also part of what makes you very easy to work
Why,
with. You're
beating chicks'
relatable. You know what I
asses or
mean?
something? What are you doing?
Nah, I haven't put my hands on nobody in almost a decade and a half. I'm proud of
She's
that.
like, man, it's been a
But
few months.
but
I just got out.
I just I did. I had a very hot streak, and once you hit that button, it was like no reverse. So part of growth and maturity is learning to emotionally learn how to
You
handle
want something?
that stuff. So I try not to have emotional reactions. I
Right.
try to really, think through stuff first.
Don't worry, it's
before-
just my family.
That's fine. Before I
React.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
engage in anything. And not even for so it doesn't turn into a disagreement, because I don't mind having disagreements with adults. It's just because I'd rather not say something
Like what?
that I can't take back. Anything. I
Yeah.
have a ruthless mouth.
That's like a mature. I would even call it a skill. Like waiting to react to something. Dude, I'm not good at that at all. So I feel like I found a cheat code. Cheri can actually attest to this. Like when I want to react emotionally, I just call somebody and I'm like, bro, I'm so this is what I'm fucking feeling right now. I'm gonna do this, and everybody's like, bro, chill. So it's like I know that if I don't have somebody talking me off the ledge, like I'm gonna react emotionally. Like I called Cheri with some work bullshit. I think I told you about it last week.
Yeah.
And she's just like, bro, just chill. Take a couple days. don't call him right now. I'm like, fucking call him. I'm driving there.
You know what's fucked up is that like all that emotion actually has a physical impact on your body too.
It definitely does.
It's like your blood pressure raises, it stresses you out,
You're all
ages you.
juiced up. What is that shit called? Like when
Adrenaline.
adrenaline. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, I learned through my therapist that I spent many a years in a
You have a
just
therapist?
emotional. Not
I didn't know
anymore.
you were
I did
crazy.
though for a while. Nah, that don't make you
Psycho.
crazy.
No, I'm
that
just
makes you
kidding.
smart. I mean, shoot, like I don't want to
called a
sit down
joke,
and
girl.
talk
Called a
like emotionally with everybody because for every listening ear is an open mouth. You know what I mean?
It's also good too to get like you're just gonna get somebody that's completely unbiased. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Where they're just kind of is it biased or unbiased?
Okay.
Unbiased,
we
right?
can open
Unbiased.
a conversation that I had with my
Watch that
therapist.
camera.
So when it comes to the home, okay, like at one point with me and my ex, I was making about 45% of the income. Okay. I was doing all of the at-home stuff to make sure that he
Naturally.
had all the time, whatever. He
we
had
live
all
on
the
Facebook?
time necessary to build and grow himself. But at the end of the day, you know, like we had many a fights over money where it was like 50-50. And like my argument was always, well, I don't even make 50% of the income. How do you expect me to pay 50% of that in? You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah.
So like, if that's the case,
Wait,
then
did you say you were making about 45%?
yeah, if you had our total combined income, I was making about 45% of what he was making.
And you're
Okay.
like, I'm not paying 50%. I'm only
No,
paying
no,
45%.
no, no, but not even that. But on some for real shit, like I was the cook, I was the maid, I was the nurturer, the parent, or the grower, the daycare. So why
Yeah.
don't you pay me for those services that you would otherwise pay for?
So you
and
were
now
saying
I make
you're doing
more
two
of the
jobs.
income. So therefore, now I can do the 50-50 role with you, you know. But now it's lopsided in your favor. So the therapist had brought it up. She's like, yeah, and this was something that we actually battled about for a while before he came to like, you know what, you're kind of not wrong, you know, like, but
I think there's a little context that before I would even say if it's right. Were you working because you wanted to or because you had to?
because I had to.
Okay. Because I feel like in that situation, if you have to work, then all the other responsibilities should be split up equally.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, excuse me. I would never, if we were in a situation where we both had to work to make everything work, it would be completely unfair for me to also expect her to do that extra home shit. Now I feel like it's my responsibility to make sure that she doesn't have to work.
Mm-hmm.
So her responsibility is all that home shit, and I'm not gonna be helpful.
And that, if that's the dynamic and that's how it works for
Yeah.
you, I'm not even against that. You know what I'm saying? But I wasn't, that luxury wasn't provided. Well, not that it wasn't provided. It just, we were both in the growing state. We weren't there yet. You know what I mean? Had we been together nowadays, that probably could be the lifestyle. Would I sit at home and not do that? Probably
No.
not. So now that's a whole nother conversation of want and intent in
Right,
a
wanting.
relationship. You know what I mean? And I think that's something that people are afraid to do. They're afraid to communicate and set their want and intent for running somebody off. But if that person's want and intent is different from your want and intent, it don't matter how much y'all want each other, love is never enough. So I feel like
I don't know
discuss
if I
those things.
necessarily agree
Talk
with that.
about it.
The saying that love is not enough. It depends on what your definition of love is. So like if you approach a relationship and you love somebody and it's a selfless act, like it's like you're just gonna give and that person's mostly gonna receive because that's the way that you operate. I don't know. I think things could be different. But when you're stuck in a situation where you have to defend yourself and what you want out of the relationship, well, then that's going to cause obviously conflict. That's just my side note.
No, I mean, I feel that. But that's why I said it goes back to open communication of people's wants and intents when it comes to it, because we might be speaking completely different love languages. And it's not that I
Sure.
don't necessarily love you or that you don't necessarily love me. We just don't love each other the right way to sustain what
Absolutely.
we want in the future. And that's not fair to either one, because now we're blocking each other from somebody who
Really
could
being
potentially
happy,
meet
yeah.
those. Exactly. And I'm just, I don't know, I guess the older you get, you feel like you're wasting too much time.
Yeah,
Years
no,
start
I
going
feel
by
that.
like this. So now everything's important. You know, my financial things are important. Exactly. Value time. So it's one of our principles. You know, everything becomes that much more important.
You know, I feel like a lot of people, just in general, they're always saying, and I feel like I read it a lot, even on Facebook, social media, even just talking to friends and family, whoever. They're always looking for somebody to treat them right and and come into their life and offer the things that they want, as opposed to approaching a relationship in the sense where, so I believe love is something that you give, right? And then if you're lucky enough, then that person is overwhelmed by what you're giving and what you're contributing to this person's life, adding value, that in turn they reciprocate, and that's what completes like a love cycle. I feel like most people are just looking at, hey, what does this person have to offer me?
Right.
As opposed to saying, what do I have to offer this person? How can I change this person's life?
Well, I ain't even gonna lie, that's something I had to look into, like, after going into dating after so many years. It's like, it's not so much my list of things I want, because God knows that can be a mile long, you know what I mean?
What do you want? What do you want in a relationship?
I want someone who forces me to grow, and someone who has the same ambition and drive as me, to make sure that our family, our financial, and our future is
Secure.
and something that is a priority.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And like, I used to think I had a list of all these other like characteristics and physical attributes, but honestly, like, at the end of the day, I want someone who treats me well. You know what I mean? I've been through all the what I wanted. So now it's time for me to like listen and see what I actually need. And I think some of that is someone to live life with ultimately. Like, I think that's what people miss in the big picture.
Let me ask you something. So the guys that in your, let's say, lifetime, mostly bad boys or not mostly bad boys?
What's your type, Cheri, is what he's asking.
You know what? It's funny. I don't have a specific type, but I always tend to, my downfall, my toxic trait is I am attracted to emotionally unavailable men, because by nature I'm nurturing
Bad
and
boys.
healing. I want to, well, I mean, it's not always bad boys, because, I mean, I guess, not really though. Some of them haven't been bad boys. Some of them have been mama's boys. Some of
Do you
them.
like the chase? Is that what it is? Is that what's appealing?
It's not that so much I like the chase. It's like I have this thing where I've always gone after what I want and been able to get it. So if I want you, I'm gonna tell you, I'm super aggressive, and I'm learning that that's something that I need to like kind of tame a little bit, because at the end of the day, men want a woman who need them, and my go-to up until now was like, I don't need nobody. I don't need nobody for nothing. I pay my own bills. I do this. I do that. I do that. But really, like, that after you say that so many times to yourself, you start to like, I believe in like the energy and calling stuff into you, and like you say that so much that you get stuck in that toxic pattern of that's all it is. But and realistically, I do need somebody. I need somebody that's gonna
humans are
love me
social
and help
people
me grow
and
and do that. And but I
there's nothing
want
wrong with that. There's
somebody who, like you said, adds value.
Yeah, of course.
Adds value. So that list became a lot shorter when I placed value over
like wants.
Yeah.
I don't think, the only thing that I would probably add on to that is I don't think men want a woman that needs them. I think it's more like wanting a woman that's going to feel comfortable being vulnerable enough to depend on them. You know what I mean?
I agree
versus
with that,
necessarily
because
like needing them.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree with that. And every time I've led with vulnerability, it's been thrown back in my face. So at this point, I have a very broken relationship with men. That's why I have so many like legit boys. Like, and it's not even no like funny stuff. Like most of my male friends are genuinely, honestly, like male friends. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
case in point,
business partners, people that I've worked with, we got mutual respect for. You know what I'm saying? And
I think it actually takes a very long time for two people to come to a point where they can honestly say, all right, I know this person.
Correct.
Think about this. Every 7 years, your whole body changes. Every single cell, your likes and dislikes change.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's why you hear it in the news, couples that have been together for 40 years, one day somebody wakes up and murders the other one or something, some weird shit.
Mm-hmm. Or somebody dies and the other one dies of a broken heart. You know,
right?
That's some real shit.
To to commit your life to somebody over the course of how many changes that you go through, that's a huge commitment. And I don't think we realize that when we're younger.
We don't.
Because I was married when I was 23 and divorced when I was 23.
God bless you.
I wasn't even thinking about all that stuff. I'm just like, you know what? I got pussy. Yeah, it's great.
Exactly.
I'm married this bitch.
I get that little extra money while I'm gone.
Because there's actually a quote out there that says, people look at marriage for love, but marriage is being able to fall in love with somebody over and over again as they evolve and grow into different people. They say if you're married to a woman
like a
for the
fucking
average
Hallmark
of
movie.
40 years, you've met 7 different women by then.
Yo, absolutely. Absolutely. And men. I mean,
Yeah,
legit.
exactly. I mean, I can't speak on the male role of it because
No,
I
it's
don't
true.
know.
Like
but
I think about, like we've been together now for 16 or 17 years. I don't know,
God bless you.
but it's like
It's tough, man.
It is.
it's like we're so
a
different
struggle.
now, dude. I never used to like tomatoes, and now I love tomatoes. So like she went a whole portion of our relationship.
You just wrapped up
ordering
a whole love story
bro.
in
Like,
tomatoes?
well, think about it this way, because like I just remember. No, it's funny because like back in the day,
Only
like
an Italian
yo,
could do that.
she'd either go out of her way to be like, oh, no tomato when she's like ordering food for me. And the other day she brought a breakfast sandwich. I'm like, yo, there's no fucking tomato on here. What the fuck?
We're all talking about love. You're like, yeah, I know exactly what you guys mean. I
No, but-
I like
No, but it
tomatoes
goes
now.
in.
But that's literally like a real life fucking example of some shit that you go through as couples. Like,
Like, I
as
thought you didn't like
minute
tomatoes. I'm
as
like, I
it
fucking love
is,
tomatoes. What are you talking about? You don't know me.
she's relearning. Exactly, she's relearning him.
Oh man.
And you know what? And
Stuffed up.
that's honestly the glory of a relationship, right? Think about all the shit you've been through, like all the lows where you've said. How many times have you said to yourself, and I'm sure she said it to herself too, like, this is it. Fuck this.
Never.
Like, I'm never doing
I've
this
never
again.
said that
I don't
about
give a
her.
fuck what happens.
Never.
Fuck this. And here you are, like that's the glory of it. It's the climb, right? Kind of you look back and you're like, man, we've been through a lot of shit.
But then you also have to be able to. But you have to be able to make sure that you're with the right person in order to go through that.
It shouldn't be that much shit.
That's
Like
not
if
true.
it's
That's
all
not
shit,
true.
eventually
I
it's like,
mean-
wait, this is just shit. Let's not do it.
Well, consider this. Imagine if both, in any relationship, right, if both parties were concentrated on being selfless, you'd always be serving the other one. Like, needs would always be met. That would be that'd be a nice thing.
But that's
What do you mean would be? That's like most relationships, bro.
Well,
It's
no,
Just like
no,
imagine,
no, I don't
imagine this
necessarily
a
agree with that.
relationship where both partners just loved each other. She's like, that would be nice. Yeah.
well, okay, maybe I haven't experienced that because, like, in my lifetime, I'm at fault too. Especially when you're younger, you look at relationships like, all right, what does this chick bring? Like, what does she bring to the table? If she don't bring shit, then I don't need her. But that's not how I necessarily. You grow up, you get more mature and all that stuff, like you're saying.
Well,
and it's
that-
like, well, you know
yeah.
what? What can I add to what can I bring to the table for her? That's like real love,
Right.
as opposed to just, you know what I'm saying? In my opinion.
I mean, at the end of the day, like I'm trying to
Like
teach
Mary
my
J.
son those same type of values. Like my son had a little girlfriend in 8th grade that he didn't see over summer. He started talking to this other girl that he really wasn't that interested in, but he was like hanging out with her. And I'm like, yo, bro, if you want to do you, but do you single. Don't be stringing this other little girl like just
Yeah, that's not
along. You know what I'm saying? Like seeing what happens, what plays out until the beginning of school. For what? To say you had a girlfriend? Like just do you?
So he was kind of keeping that in the bag, but
Yeah.
I mean, That's
no,
not the
I'm
wrong
not.
thing to do.
I'm
It's
not
kinda-
that. I'm not that mom though. Like I'm that mom that if I see a little girl that he brought over and it's a different little girl from before, and you trying to call the other little girl your girlfriend, I'm
How old is
questioning
he?
who this little girl is. 15.
no, I mean he's just diversifying his portfolio. Like you
But be single and do
You
that.
can't have all your
do
eggs
it
in
the
one
right
basket.
way. No,
Like,
but do it the right way.
that's what it
Do
sounds
the
like
right
you
way.
got it the
Keep
right
a flock
way.
of 5. I don't care how many are in your flock. Just let them know that they're a flock. That it's not a solitary position. That's not
Yeah.
fair to anybody.
Well, you know what the reality is too is that men and women are completely different creatures. No. Like the fact that we're human, that's like pretty much what we have in common.
Yeah,
But other than that,
basically.
like, and I wholeheartedly believe this: men fall in love with what they see, women fall in love with how they feel.
Exactly.
And that's right then and there. Like that's
That's
black
what-
and white contradiction. Like, we want beautiful.
I mean, that's why a woman can meet a man who's a 6 and ultimately fall in love with him and marry him and truly be in love with him because of how he treats her. Whereas you
Right.
guys, or I don't mean you guys like that.
Yeah, where's-
I'm just saying
Like
as
you
like
assholes.
Like
men,
you guys. So
as
basically,
men.
that's
I'm
how a
sorry. See,
woman
that's what
can
I'm saying.
fall
I
in
don't
love
mean
with
it
either
like
one
that.
of you.
I'm just saying, but like, you know, men in general, they want that trophy. I don't
Of
want to
course.
say a
That's
trophy
why
wife
men are always
either.
attracted to younger women as they age.
Exactly. Which we can get into a whole nother set of topics. So, but
Yeah.
Can we? Thanks. I like it.
Wow, what's a whole nother set of topics? What are you talking about?
Old men dating young women.
yeah, Hollywood, the tragedies that go on in Hollywood and stuff.
Leo-
Because
Leo DiCaprio
I
is
have
like
a
20-year-old
beautiful
girls.
daughter who I would love to model and have a career and do something like that because
Scared.
she's so Yeah,
That she wants to be a model.
Well, she doesn't want necessarily to be a model, but she wants to be some form of an entertainer. But I'm even scared to dip my, like, I've took her to auditions in Boston, and we've done little stuff here and there, but, like, it's just such a scary world.
Well, it's such a different world now. Like if that's really the path she wants to take, you could do it on your own, just like creating your own content on
Right,
YouTube or
right.
streaming, or there's
Yeah,
tons
you
of
don't
different
need
ways.
all
you know
that
what I
other
mean?
shit now.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that's some of the things that she's done. Like, I mean, she's created a YouTube channel
What
and
is
done
it?
little stuff.
That's fine.
I don't know what it is off the top of my head. She
Oh, wow.
she doesn't promote it like that. Like she
Super mom.
and that no. The thing is
So
she
supportive.
she goes through spurts of everything. Like she wants to do it here, then she doesn't want to do it. She wants so and I try
We all
not
got
to
this fucking sniffles. I saw him wiping his nose too.
I try not to
Well, how I
pigeonhole
talk
her
like this.
into like any type of anything. If you're
Right.
if you're over it, you're over it. You know what I
Thank
mean?
you though.
By the time she gets 40, I hope she knows what she's doing because God knows I
old
ain't
is she
figured
now?
it out. 11.
11?
She got time.
We
Well,
say
you
that,
know,
but
I
it
was-
happened so fast.
Yeah, but doesn't I mean?
We all said we couldn't wait till we was 21.
Yeah, there's really no
Now
rush
you
though.
can't-
You know what I mean? Like there doesn't even have to be like something that you figure out. You can just live. You know.
Well, that's why I said, like, if she says she wants to do it, we encourage it. If she doesn't want to do it, then it's like, okay, I'm not gonna tell you got to be in there creating content, doing something because that's the drive you want to do. Like, I'm not like
Don't come out of your room
crazy.
until you
Well, that's
create
what I'm
a
saying.
video.
Like, yeah, like you can say whatever. You can look at it either way, but I'm not gonna force her to do anything that she's not like super ready to do yet. When
Yeah.
she's ready, she'll tell me.
I think the trick is to just make sure whatever the kids want to do, that they do it all the way. You know what I mean? Don't half-ass it. Whether it's fucking handing somebody a
Drugs.
McDonald's bag, yeah, drugs,
I mean-
acting, music.
We tried everything. I put her in everything from martial arts to fencing, and I just have.
Fencing.
Oh yeah, it was dope.
interesting.
That's some
They
white
actually
people
had some-
shit,
I-
bro.
it is
That
some-
is the
it
whitest
is.
shit ever.
But no, look at
On
it this way.
God.
Hold on, no. But let's play statistics. Fencing happens at Ivy League schools. There's a small minority of people that are
Right,
actually
right.
involved in it. So if I can
It's
exponentially
way easier to
increase
get a
her odds,
scholarship.
in doing
Why-
that, why wouldn't I start her off early?
Why do you want her to go to an Ivy League school?
I don't care if she goes to an Ivy League school or not. I just don't want to rob her of the opportunity to be able to do that. From someone who was like a really good student and didn't have much in my grasp and then ended up losing my scholarship because of a medical issue. Like, I just want to make sure she has whatever opportunity she has in front of her and is presented with them and able to take advantage of them
And she's 11?
in ways that I wasn't. That's all.
Would you have any issues if the kids were like, I don't want to go to college?
No.
No?
No, but what is your plan? What's your 3-year plan? What's your 5-year plan? What are we doing? How are we sustaining some type of passive income? Are we looking at real estate? Are we gonna look at your business? Are you gonna start a podcast? Are you a content creator? Are you a consultant for businesses? What are you doing? What's your goal then? You know what I mean? Like I don't.
It's a lot of pressure for a kid, 17, 18 years old.
I mean, I feel like at least kids nowadays have so much access to stuff that they can make a good decision. Whereas we was kids, it was like a doctor, a lawyer, a this or that, or a tradesman.
Right,
You know
right.
what I'm saying? Like we weren't open to the endless possibilities
Well, it was just
before
like
the
all
internet.
shoved through the same fucking line of like school, college, job, school, college, job. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Just to sustain a debt that's
still
so
fucked it up.
huge that you can't even do nothing. I mean, I went to college. I got my associates. I was 24.
I got my
was
associates. too.
pregnant with my son. You know what I mean? I went through.
What good is it?
That's what I'm saying. I learned all the stuff that I know through working and through like the people I met and the positions I've been in.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think we're very far away from college degrees just being
Null and
almost
void.
obsolete. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, it's different
I
in
don't know
other
about null and
countries.
void. Like they're not gonna cancel the old ones, but just
But it's different in other countries where they're paid for education because that actually holds some type of weight when they go into whatever social structure they have or however it's set up, you know. But
give me an example. I don't know anything about that.
I mean, like they offer the free education, so therefore when they go and most of the
You think
education
education
places.
should be free?
I mean, how do you feel about taxes? Are you okay with paying a 40 or 50% tax rate in order to ensure medical and, you know, education? I mean, is it worth it to you at that? Let's look at it from the flip side. How much are we paying out of pocket here? And let's be honest, like our medical
Is that a yes?
system, it's not a yes or a no. I can't tell you, I can't say what's best. I
Why?
just know that I like
No,
to
I'm
do
asking
my.
you what you think. You think that college should be free?
There's other factors that apply into it. I don't know if I agree with the way they make college free. That's what I'm saying. So now
Because it's
that
not really free. It's how it's getting paid
it's
for.
how it's getting paid for. You know what I'm saying? So in America,
Okay. We know that if college was free, it would come from the taxpayers.
correct.
Right.
You think college should be free?
I mean, I can't say yes to that. I
No, how
literally
could
can't
anybody?
say 100% say
To me,
yes
it's
to
a
that.
simple no.
But I don't think that it should be a simple no because look what's happening in our country right now
It should
mean?
be a simple no. Like
as
what?
far as higher education goes.
So hold on.
It's a
explain. What do you mean?
monopolized. It's a
Like-
monopolized industry where they literally just put
business.
our children into debt over and over and over again. Now these are future leaders of our country. Don't we want them to have the best possible whatever it is? Now I don't even agree fully with what we educate our kids with, so that's a whole nother conversation. But
it's
that's
so
why
much
I say
more
it's not a
realistic to
yes
just
or
make it
no.
affordable. No, I mean I look at it as a yes or no. No, it definitely shouldn't be free. Like it should never be the burden of the taxpayer because two things: college is optional. If I'm a 40-year-old man and I don't have kids, why the fuck am I paying any money for your stupid
And
little
I
kids
hear
to
that
run?
point,
You know what I mean?
and
To
that's
go to
why I say
college.
it's not an easy yes or no.
Well,
I
that's
hear that point.
To me, that's an easy no.
But at the end of the
Well, you're
day,
paying for a whole bunch of other shit too.
is
as
the
a 40-year-old
higher
man,
majority
you know?
of
Cool.
your
I don't want to pay for that either.
is the higher majority of your country, is he the one off? Because if he's the one off, we still got to live by the 80-20 rule.
I don't think it's a one-off. I mean, do more.
Nowadays,
So
probably
when
not.
kids, what's the percentage of kids that graduate high school that go to college?
I don't even know where it's at right now. That's what I'm saying.
He could go.
Oh, I feel like
bet it's
there's other
probably less than
options too.
50.
If you want your college paid for, you can always join the military. You know.
You can go that route
Well,
too.
that's still just
it's
one.
still
That's
a
still
taxpayer.
taxes paying for it,
it's
bro.
still it's still a taxpayer
True.
expense.
True.
That's the thing. It's like it's optional, bro. Like the problem is like the loans don't have to be predatory and it doesn't have to be so much fucking money. You know what I mean? It's
That's my
like,
thing.
It's crazy.
I mean, I wouldn't mind if we had to pay for it if it was more reasonable, but I feel like just hand over foot. They just literally.
Well, it's just
incur
going to
so
be
much
so much
debt.
more. Information is so easy to access now. It's going to be impossible for them to keep charging these
Mm-hmm.
tuition fees. I mean, you could literally
Learn whatever
go
the
and
fuck you want.
you could teach yourself to be a lawyer and have enough information to go past the bar without ever
Exactly.
going to law school.
Depending on how ambitious you are. But that's what I
In
said.
fact, a
but-
lot of people in prison they do that. I don't
Yeah,
know if they pass the
think about
bar
it.
or whatever, but they get very,
I'm sure
very
they
well
could,
versed in law.
Well, yeah, because it only helps them. It only helps
In their case
them
and
out.
their
Yeah,
appeals
where they're
and-
at. Can you pour me a little bit of that diet soda?
Throw a little coke in there.
Not in the shop, but you know.
Does anybody else want anything? You want to get some napkins?
Remember when Rich was like, Brandon, grab me another beer? You're like, nah. Nah. You can get your own beer.
He said it the other day. He was like, I felt so bad. I was calling him Jamie, and he didn't understand. You didn't know that Joe Rogan's
That's good.
guy was Jamie? Is that what it was?
At that point, yeah.
Yeah, that's actually a major compliment, bro. Somebody calling you Jamie.
That was an Asian thing.
No. I don't know any Asians named Jamie.
I said, Rich, we invite you over into the podcast. You're insulting our guy already? Jeez, man.
It'll be all right.
All right, so what is this? What is this show?
So that's the college enrollment rate.
This is a graph.
Yeah.
That's the college enrollment rate as
Like
of
sometimes you're
2022.
overproducing, other times you're underproducing.
But at the end of the day, so to sum it up, 62% of our younger population is paying some form of debt incurred, whether they get, because this is just college enrollment. It doesn't tell whether they completed their associates, how much debt they accrued or anything like that. But exponentially, more than half of our population is accruing some type of debt to go and get their education done at an exponentially high rate that then they go into a marketplace of their industry or their
And they don't get a
field,
job,
and they don't even get a job, or even a job that's equated to what they have
you know
until
what,
they have
though?
the experience.
So many. I bet there's such a huge chunk of this number where so many kids graduate high school and enroll in college just due to social pressure, whether it's by their family, their peers, like the expectation.
Shit, I wish I would have went to college.
So many people
Me
go to
too
college
sometimes.
because they're expected to. You know what I mean?
Like I'm saying, on campus, that I wish I experienced that whole thing, fucking all them girls and
Well, I didn't experience either because I got mine online. I did my associates
college and fuck
online.
girls.
You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
mean, well, that's what the college experience is. That's what I'm saying. Like,
I miss that whole fraternity. I don't know. I want to know what
I
that's
was just
like.
on
I didn't
DeVry
miss
University.
nothing. I lived in Florida at that time. I was out in Tampa every weekend. We was chilling. We was,
Yeah?
yeah.
Just getting
Is that where you're
ran
from?
through.
Florida?
No,
Or-
I'm from here, but my mom, I skipped school the day of the classical
that.
test, so my mom moved me to Florida spring break of 8th grade. So I went to
Yeah.
high school out in Florida. And then I came back when I was 18. I went back to Florida, stayed there for a while, came back when I was 27.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind people paying for college. I mean, it just doesn't have to be so fucking expensive.
Well, but it's an option. You know what I mean? Like you can't put that burden on taxpayers, so you shouldn't anyway.
Yeah.
But then they also have the option to be a tradesman, which by nature we know you
Kids
can make
today
you a
do
lot
not
of
want
money.
to work with their hands.
See,
I don't know, man. I think that's such a generalized thing, bro.
Well, I'm saying that only because over the last 10 years being in manufacturing, I know that the pool was very, very hard to find people that were into machining, even plumbing, carpentry, stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't
Those are
disagree
all,
with
like,
him.
especially with social media now. I think kids know that they can make money making content
Easier.
Yeah, a lot easier than,
But we still fail them hand over foot because we don't teach them financial literacy.
of course.
So
Who's we? When you say we, you mean like the school system, the public school system?
Adults.
Yes, adults in general. Because at the end of the day, the schools are going to teach what they teach. The only way we're going to turn that over is if we fight through the political system to
you
change
scoot
all
up
that.
just a little bit, or just move them. There you go. There
To
you go.
change all that. But however,
Hold like 2 fists from the.
sorry. However, it's not just
So
the
inappropriate.
I
school's
like how you
responsibility.
went right straight, right there. Like there was no hesitation. You knew exactly.
Yeah, you haven't had too many conversations with me off of the mic, but trust me, they tend to go left real quick. I have this thing with the shock factor. I like to shock you and myself to see how far I can go. It's just kind of funny. But
I
anyways,
like shocking.
But it's not just the school's responsibility to teach these kids. It's
No,
the
of course.
adults in their lives, whether you're a parent, grandparent, aunt, uncle, friend of the family.
It takes a
you know what I mean? It does take a community
village.
wholeheartedly.
It takes a village.
And like I had to learn this stuff on my own. Thankfully, for the internet came
Yo.
along, but
I just always think, like, imagine how different my life would be if my mom and dad taught me about credit.
Finances and
Ex-
credit.
You know, like just even the most basic thing, like credit alone. You know what I mean? Like obviously, then you have real estate investing and all this extra shit. But just like credit, something as simple as that. And it's wild that that's just not part of the normal curriculum in public schools. Well, I don't know. Is it yet? I mean, I know you're a teacher.
I don't think so.
Is that something that's being implemented? I feel
Financial
like,
literacy?
yeah.
That's like an after-school option choice at my
The
school.
problem
so
is-
wild. Like that should just take the place of fucking algebra, of everything. Yeah,
don't
bro.
want that.
You do all of this so you can what? Go to college, get a job, make a lot of money. Just teach us how to make a lot of money now instead.
they don't want
Right.
that. They don't want everybody to have the same option.
No, because
Hey,
you
what are you
need
talking about?
the rich, the top 1%,
Oh yeah.
the top 10%.
them.
I don't mean them like that. I'm not saying it in a
Them.
derogatory way.
No,
I'm just
yeah.
saying
no,
in general.
it's the same them that like cover shit up and need poor people to work.
Exactly. To have
elite.
everybody playing on a fair, not, and I hate to say it like that because whatever
lizard
the elite
people.
is, you know what I'm saying. There's just unfortunately we live in a capitalistic society.
You say unfortunately?
No, well, I don't mean it like that. I'm saying there are things that come from living in our society, okay?
Right.
And good, bad, and ugly.
Yep.
People always want to have these conversations, but they always want to force you into a box to say you're right or wrong. Like, let's have a real conversation. Capitalism is great. I am proud to live in America and be in the society that we're in. However,
Let's say the
there
Pledge of
are
Allegiance.
things that come from the society in which we live
From
in.
it's like collateral damage from being a capitalistic
And
society.
we either face it and talk
Like
about
what?
it and not shame people for feeling a certain way.
But the
And
reality is, right? There's no other better way of doing it.
see,
You can always improve the capital.
it's almost a failure of us as a people because we are so strong together, but we're so scared to stand together because we're forced to unite and divide.
When you say
divide and
stand
conquer
together,
all
do
the
you
time.
mean like live the same style of life, like in a just way?
No,
like, hey,
that we're willing to be a community to stand up and say when something's wrong. We have a government that in the House and Senate, they sit in these chairs in these positions for decades on decades on decades.
Crazy.
And like the president is forced to turn over every couple of terms, but yet we allow them to sit in there with an archaic way of thinking. Good, bad, or ugly. Like I said, I don't have the answer, so I'm not going to sit here and this is not passing judgment. I'm literally
it's cool.
just
Just a little
sharing
quick
some
lesson.
honest feedback on how I see some of the things. So
you
at
don't
the
like
end,
America.
I love America.
Cheri hates America.
No, that's not true. I love America.
Write that down for the title,
That's not
please.
even true.
That's the title of the
No,
podcast.
y'all cannot do that, Josh. Don't play me like that. I love America. I
Burning
love America.
flags with
That's
Cheri
not
Gavin.
true. That's not true. I just wish we were willing to take a hard
insurrection of
look in
January
the mirror. That's my birthday, by the way.
Is it?
If everybody thinks that's funny, yes, that's my birthday. But no, it's not even that. It's not an I hate America thing. It's I want to
We can
take
do
a
better.
hard look in the mirror where we can fix things.
Like
Like
what?
we
Like
as
what?
people want to grow. How do we make it better for the poor and middle class, and grow them a little bit and, not.
But in a capitalistic society, the rich are never going to look out for
They're never. And I know that. That's
because
collateral
the
damage.
cream always rises to the
Collateral damage.
Yeah, it is.
Collateral
to some degree,
damage.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Meaning
Not
there has to
saying-
be poor people, right? There has to be.
There's always going to be poor people.
Yes.
Again, I go back to 80-20 rule. We're never going to solve any problem completely. However, we need to be willing, back to relationships, we need to be willing to have hard conversations and hear people out and actually have like challenges of the minds everywhere talking about these things. Life is not a game of checkers, it's a game of chess. And people that don't engage in that type of battle
What kind of hard
get left
conversations?
behind. Anything like
Pick one thing.
our medical field, the big pharma. How
What's wrong with Big Pharma?
they charge the cost of insulin right now is so exponentially high, and this is a necessity for these people to live. So let's have a conversation of how do we change it when
Wanna
we
hear
can
something
go
crazy?
we can go across the border in Canada where they're taxed for it and get it like a 16th of what we're gonna pay.
Well, that's because there's a
here.
lot of people that don't need it that are forced to pay for it.
I agree. And that leads into our
And is
our
the
insurance.
Well, hold on.
Is
Isn't
a scam
the need
Insurance is a
that
scam,
plays
yeah.
into where Big Pharma is at.
isn't
Like
the
I
need
said, it's
for
not just one
insulin
answer.
though based on, for the most part? I know that there are certain, there are minority situations, but for the most part, insulin. And I'm not a doctor, but does that have something to do with diabetes?
Yes,
Of course.
So- For
but
the
it
most-
doesn't.
hold on,
It doesn't
can I
have to be
finish? Let me
insulin.
finish,
Yeah, I'm
right?
sorry. It doesn't.
So, I know you're talking. I want to use insulin because you brought it up.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time, somebody needs insulin as a result of the decisions they've been making over their life.
Correct.
Correct. Sometimes
Right.
it's hereditary
So
too,
it's
though.
like when you say, I know that, but that's not. I'm talking about the majority of times.
I got it.
So when you say like, oh, these people need it, it's like, yes, they need it, but at what point is it the responsibility of
The individual.
taxpayers to help to fix
Agreed.
somebody's bad decision making?
Agreed. I'm saying that's why I said to you, I don't have all the answers, but I would like to open the dialect. This is what I want my podcast to be about. Let's talk about it. Let's see where the grand spectrum of data falls. Let's make an educated decision, like I have to do every day in my job, going in, looking at what processes are broke, what inefficiencies that happen. How do I make us more effective? I'm not saying that we live another way of. Besides a capitalistic society, I say we find ways as
make it
a
better.
community. Yes,
So you're
and I'm
for
not saying the rich
socialism is
looks
what
out
you're
for the
saying.
poor. I'm saying the middle class looks out for the middle class. The poor.
You're trying to turn this into Cuba, Cheri.
No,
Fuck's going on here?
I'm not.
You're
I
trying
just,
to-
Going, piggybacking off of what Josh is saying,
Don't
so
piggyback
there's,
off me.
there's there's a portion of responsibility that lies on the individual and
Correct.
their choices, what they're eating,
Correct.
what they're not, their exercise
Correct.
routine, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But with that being said, there's also a huge part that nobody, well, it seems like it's coming to light more often
Mm-hmm.
today than in the past. But our own government poisoning our fucking foods,
Correct.
and pushing you remember the food pyramid. Oh, eat a lot of grains and fucking carbs
Just
and
eat bread all day.
Yes,
Eat
right.
bread all
Yeah,
day.
that's gonna push diabetes and stuff like that. So I mean,
But that's exactly why I don't
I
want.
agree with what you're saying.
But that's exactly why I don't want to open a generalized. When you said give an example, that just starts the snowball effect of actually
right.
what's happening.
Where is the root? Where's the
Right,
root of the problem?
Right. Besides even the way our government is poisoning our food and stuff like that, and how it's grown and all this other stuff, like they also redline and put minority neighborhoods at a influence.
Wait, hold on. That's a really, really, really bold claim. We don't, as a country, we don't redline anymore. That's right.
Well, I'm saying we're
That's-
still.
that's
but,
illegal, that's-
no,
Talking
I'm
to the mic.
opening. I'm just trying to. I'm just trying to open
Yeah,
the
just
things
hold it like
that
a fucking
again
singer.
collateral damage.
you look
These
up
are
what
the
is
things
redlining
that
and
have
what that
happened.
means?
So if we look at neighborhoods that are below a median income of so much, you find a lot less accessibility to some grocery stores, to things
Hey,
like
what
that.
does red line mean? You guys are talking about this.
I'm
You're talking about, like, redlining a
when a
community.
median income basically is lower than a certain amount, or a neighborhood is deemed to be a lower income type neighborhood, the resources are less in that area. Whether it's education, it started as an educational thing and a property tax thing. It no longer exists in the United States, but I'm just using an example.
So hold on.
Of,
So if
It
there's
might exist, but it's not. It's not systemic like it used to be.
no, it's
Correct.
just a result
But
of less
there's-
money coming in from that area, right?
Correct, but there's also things that happen because of that put a disadvantage in certain areas and certain things. I'm not saying it's up to the taxpayer, but again, I'm gonna roll back all the time. I want to just open
Back
a
up what you're saying,
conversation.
though. Yes. So we're having the conversation. Just back that up. Quantify what you're saying. So it put people. I'm assuming you're saying minorities in a disadvantage. Explain that. What do you mean?
It's not just minorities. It's lower producing, like Josh said, areas. Lower they
So
don't
whites
add
also?
to the economy. Yeah, it doesn't.
Okay.
Poor people.
Exactly. Like the minority
Peasants.
of the
Common folk.
population. And in whatever aspect that the minority population is, you know what I'm saying? Whether
Yeah.
but there's not as many grocery stores in those areas. There's not as many, access to good, healthy food, which, as we have the conversation, rolls over into what are they actually putting into our food? What is considered healthy food now?
Well, so let me ask: is that in, let's say, lower income communities?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think statistically, it's known that they're going to drink more alcohol because of they have a lower income. So is it the fault of the
What?
government, or is
That
it?
one went over my head.
Well-
Because they're lower income, they're going to drink more alcohol?
Yes, just like they're going to commit more crimes. That's just statistical kind of like fact.
Interesting.
Yeah. So is it the liquor stores going, hey, look, this is a lower income neighborhood. Let's open a store there because we know we're going to have greater sales. Or is it like the responsibility of our government to regulate those things? Like, this is a very broad subject.
But that's what I'm saying. It opens up into a lot of broad
Like pawn
conversa-
shops are in lower income
It
because they know
opens-
Because
that.
they know people are going to need
They're
that
desperate.
quick cash. Yeah.
But
Yes.
it opens up then bigger conversations of collateral damage. Let's just do better in somewhat. We're not going to fix all
But what
these
does that
things.
mean? Do better. Like, that's very just. I know that's. I hear what you're saying. It sounds like your heart's in the right place, but get specific. Like, what?
I
do
just
better.
feel like as humans, we need to look out for each other.
Absolutely.
Oh, that was pretty
Period.
specific.
It's that specific. I wouldn't do to you
Right.
nothing that I wouldn't want done to me.
Okay,
and
the
if that
golden rule,
means
right.
and if that means that I can add some benefit somewhere to open a conversation because I'm not the solution provider. However, I'm willing to facilitate a conversation to maybe get to people. There's people that we all know. This conversation right here could have.
But I'm sure you have opinions. You must have stances.
I mean, I tend to be very
Politically
in
correct.
the middle. No, I do tend to be in the middle, and
You
it's
walk-
not.
you-
and
you're
it's
on the
not.
fence.
It's not because I don't agree either way. It's because I see both sides, and because I can't facilitate the solution. Who am I to say what the answer is? I'm willing to.
Just because you
It's very safe.
Yeah, just because you can't actually execute the
Solve.
solution,
Right.
you should I think I don't even say that you can. I think that you should have an opinion because you have something is right and something is wrong. You know.
Do you believe in systemic racism? Is that?
I believe it's been an issue for this country.
Yeah.
I do believe that. I believe that even like with the turning over of the
Why do you believe that? Can I ask that?
Why?
Because I mean,
Why?
and again, I hate to say statistically there's this fact and that fact, because as we all know, statistics can be skewed in any way that the person presenting the data wants
Sure,
it to be seen.
I agree with you.
So I
To
mean,
some
that's
degree, yeah, I agree with you.
that's open for discussion. But I mean, the way people have been arrested, or like it shows in the numbers. We can pull data of gender, or lower income, or minority ethnicity, or whatever the case may be, and show that it's higher versus this or that. Like you said, you say minority neighborhoods have higher crime, but there's a reason behind that. It's not just because that are they more focused there?
Well,
All
he
right,
said low income areas.
Whatever the case may be,
Well,
low
it's
income
too-
areas.
I think it's important though.
It is
Very
important. You're
very
right,
different,
because
yeah.
I'm not trying to group
'Cause even
anything.
in poor
I'm
white
just saying
neighborhoods,
they do the
there's a
same
higher-
thing.
lot of liquor
They do
stores.
the same
Yeah.
thing. However, the
Lot of
fact
trailer
of the
parks.
matter is, why? What where are we failing? All right. Tying into
Well,
director.
hold on. So I just want to keep focused for a second here, just to keep like a point of talk. You say that there is systemic racism. I think I'm just trying to find out why you believe that. Is it just statistically because there's more minorities in jail? Is that because you kind of hinted towards there?
I mean, there's
Specifically, why do you believe that? If you can.
I mean, if you just look how things are handled in certain situations are perceived, and I'm not just going off of by what the news feeds, because the news feeds again us ways to divide and conquer. That's just a tactic that's been used for years. But there are disadvantages. I have biracial children, so I've seen it from the stance of being with somebody
Sure.
who's a different color. You know what I'm saying? I've seen it happen in certain areas. Like, am I saying that it happens? And this is why I tried the line, because I'm not accusing everybody of being like this.
Sure.
Again, I just want to open
Well,
the conversation
systemic
of
is
saying
systemic. It's not
that
saying
it
that we
happens.
are,
It's
the people.
well, no, but it's from the systems that have been created. And if we look back into our laws,
So
I'm
let me
sure
ask you
there
this.
could be
I'm sorry.
example after example after example.
Yeah.
I don't have them for you right now, so therefore I'm not even going to try and quote anything that I don't specifically know.
Okay.
But I'm sure we could definitely
Lewis v. Smith.
go back and
You
forth
know,
about
let's
it.
go fucking. People start citing
Educate
laws.
me about
if-
Lewis v. Smith.
I
because
just made
don't-
that up.
Okay.
I just made that
I'm
up.
I was
saying.
going to say, if somebody
That's how cases sound on, but-
if somebody says to me, I believe that there is systemic racism in this country, my very first question is, all right, why do you believe that?
Well, I did say it's been an issue of this country. I don't know
Prior to the Civil Rights Act, right?
Well, maybe not even then. Maybe
There
a
was
little bit after
redlining,
then.
there was-
stuff that was happening. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm an '80s baby. I'm 40, so
All right.
like I'm early '80s. You
Let
know
me
what I'm saying?
articulate
Like,
really fast.
stuff has happened even through
Why
my generation that
sure.
I've seen. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And now, mind you, my dad.
I'm never denying that racism doesn't exist, but I guess let me quantify why, or let me explain
sexy
why
word.
I asked this specific questions. So when somebody says that there's systemic racism, right? To me, they're saying that there's racism built into the system, meaning policy, law,
There is.
directives, mandates. You're saying there is, and I'm
There
asking
is.
you, tell me what directives, policies,
well,
federal
okay.
laws.
Let me say it like this: it's not
mandates.
necessarily. It's not
Well,
necessarily.
hold on. Just let me finish the question. Tell me what.
Cheri's feisty.
Tell me what part of the system. Now we're talking about laws and policy, not people's feelings.
But it's the people's feelings who imply them laws and policies, because it's left up to interpretation that the
Right.
problem comes into fact. So you can't say systemic racism or that doesn't happen because of
We're talking
necessarily
about
all
the
the policies
structure
or
that
laws.
builds
But
a-
it's carried out by people.
Like judges, for example.
Exactly. It's
Like,
carried out by
the
people.
example
So
could
no
be
matter how
unfairly
good the laws
sentencing.
are, it's still up for interpretation.
I guess where I'm stuck is that you're not just you. I'm just saying people in general.
No, that's
they say
fine.
when you say systemic, you're talking about the system. You're not talking about people and how they feel. And yes, there's racism, but when you're talking about the system is the laws, the policy, the directives. Tell me what laws, policy, and directives are racist or towards minorities. That's what I'm trying to get at. Because that's the system. That's the actual system.
Even back into like when
Not pre-Civil Rights Act. I'm
not
talking about
pre-Civil
now.
Rights Act.
It's an
Now,
impossible question to
2023.
answer,
No,
Cheri, because
it's not, because
it's
I
the
can
opposite,
I
though.
can give an example.
Okay.
Even buying a
Okay,
home.
yeah. That's what I want to hear.
Even
yeah.
buying a home right now.
Yep.
you go as a minority or you go as a Caucasian. The inspection, the home value, all of that stuff can be done and again, it boils back to the people. The system cannot be truly fair if the people operating don't operate it properly.
That's very general. That's very.
It's not. It's not. How is it so general? Because if we have a system in place that works, but we have people that have their feelings in it and like do their own interpretation of it.
I'm agreeing that there's racism it exists in this country.
So that's what I'm saying. So
but
how
when
do
you
we
say
fix
the
that?
system again, you're talking about. You have to cite laws. You have to cite policy.
And that's why I said to you, I'm
Yeah.
not going to go into all that because I don't know specifically every single law off the top of my head
Okay,
right now
all
or
right.
any of that. I'm not going to
All
have
right,
that fight.
that's what I
am going to have the fight with you, though, that
Yeah.
we can't say that it's not there.
We can say it's not systemic.
Right.
It's
We
just
can say
racist.
it's not
It's
systemic.
just racist people in positions of power.
Fair
Correct.
enough. If you wanna argue the point of racist people in power and that and I'll take that. However,
How do you feel about affirmative action?
Because that's kind of the opposite of systemic racism.
That's actually putting white people at a disadvantage based on the color of their skin.
It's so hard for us, bro.
it's putting white people at a disadvantage for the color of their skin. Do you really feel that though?
It's not about how I feel. It's about what it actually is. That's actually a fact.
mean,
That's what it is.
I don't see it as that. I see it as giving somebody who's been cheated out of advantages the advantage. We are the majority everywhere.
Right.
Statistically, the numbers play in our favor over and over and over and over and over again. So to take that 1, 2, 3 roles, they should be
I think
given
you're
the
missing my point.
opportunities generally without there having to be any facilitation of making it a mandate.
I hear what you're saying.
But then it's not
Let's-
based on merit anymore. Then it's literally you could get an opportunity over somebody, even if you're not as qualified, just because of the color of your skin, which is
Correct.
crazy.
I don't necessarily agree with that because I'm always the first
And
one
that
to
is
say,
actually
let's
in the
go.
system.
I'm always saying let's go for some form of justice and equality. I've always fought
Well,
for
it's-
that and everywhere.
In certain issues, for example, like when hiring, like the NFL has a rule where they before they hire a new head coach. Can you look this up, Brandon? I think it's called the Wayne Rooney rule or something. Before they hire a head coach, they have to interview like a black person before
Sure.
they hire a new head coach, which is wild. It's almost like making a mockery of it. Also, you know what I mean?
I'm surprised that minorities don't get angry over it. Like,
What
oh,
is
you
it?
just
Let
want to
make sure I'm
interview
not
me because
butchering
of the
this
color
one.
of my skin.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's a mockery of it. It's not even-
I'm sure there is a way that it feels a certain way. I don't know how to fix it. Like I said to
Sure.
you guys, I want to open these conversations because I myself want to be educated on different routes, different opinions, how it views different people, how it affects different people. Because I only have my view. I only have my
I think
version of what has happened to me.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? And I mean, I'm a minority when it comes to corporate America because I'm a woman. Factual, it is what it is.
I just want to stay on point here really fast. I think a lot of people don't realize what they're actually saying when they say something like, you know what, there is systemic racism. They're not thinking of the system. They're thinking of just America in general. And is there racism in America? Well, of course there is. You'll never, ever get rid of that, right? Cultures will always clash, whether it be Chinese and Indian, whether it be, they're just different cultures, right? Cultures will always clash. But when not just you, I'm sorry, I don't want to make this
No,
personal.
you're fine. Don't make it personal. It's fine.
When
Specifically you,
somebody
Cheri.
says that there's systemic
I don't mind
racism,
owning
and I
it.
ask, okay, tell me what about the system is racist, and somebody cannot provide that. Well, then I venture to, I would say, all right, you know what, you're caught up in the feelings and emotions of sensationalism, and that's what the mainstream media, partly because of our government, is touting, and it's all propaganda. It's all bullshit. Because the reality is that.
I don't believe it's all bullshit though, because
Hold on.
there's still
Just let me finish my
factuality
thought.
of the
Just let me finish
planet.
my thought. The reality is that the system is actually built in minorities' favor right now. Right now. I'm not talking about Civil Rights Act, all that stuff. Right now, the system is built in minorities' favor. So for somebody to say that there's systemic racism, and that's the reason why a community or a group of people is not succeeding, that's bullshit.
But you can't say that because we're definitely still dealing with the repercussions of everything that happened.
No, I can
I'm
say that.
40
That's
years
fact.
old, and even as far as the 80s and 90 years old, we cannot argue that that wasn't taking place.
What do you mean?
So,
Just be specific. I'm just
systemic racism.
Yeah.
We were still working through a lot of things, not even to say that they're even fixed. You know what I mean? Like
But we know that America has
mean-
taken huge strides to defeat racism
definitely
to the
have.
point where the pendulum has swung the other way. Now it's white people that are being affected, not being affected. I should say they're
Marginalized?
marginalized, being at a disadvantage, according to the system. I'm not talking about like what if a judge doesn't like black
Historically
people
or what.
Yeah. I'm talking about the system itself, the policies, directives of this country, the laws. The laws of this country favor minorities now.
the laws have been built differently, correct. However, it's still, again, so we work in the solar fields, okay? The inspector that goes out to inspect our job decides that our code is not his interpretation of what the code is.
Sure.
Collateral damage. We still have to talk about that. I don't want to get so caught up on systemic, non-systemic, this, that.
But that's
I
the
want to
root of
get,
it.
what I want to get caught up on is the talk about it.
Just racism in general, then? Or you don't-
Racism, how some
That'll
of our
never, ever change?
policies are how some of our policies are ran, how some of our programs are.
Okay, now you're talking about the system again. You see what
Because
I'm saying?
I feel like our medical system is failing us. I feel like our educational system is failing us. I feel like there are things that
us
are
who?
failing
Us
us.
as
The
a society?
American society.
Okay, that's a whole different conversation from systemic racism. We're
Again,
I guess
we're
kinda
going
bouncing
off.
around a
We're
little
going
bit.
off the tip of the iceberg. With this is what happens when
Yeah.
you open the conversation, because it can't be pinned down just any one particular place. We have to have these conversations over and over and over again to really see where we're gonna go next. Because and I'm gonna say this meaning
The three of us.
the generation that we exist in, the 35 to 45-year-old generation
Yeah.
that needs to be.
Count me out of that shit.
Josh, you're close enough. Just
33.
the point of the matter is,
you have interracial children?
yes, I have white and Puerto Rican and white and black.
Okay.
However, we have.
Would you
Interracial
agree?
is such
Can I
a
ask a question really
formal
fast?
word.
Would you agree that your children are in the best spot that they could be in, being in America, than any other fucking country on this
I
globe?
do. That's why I said earlier, it's
Like,
not
their
about
best chance-
America. It's
Well, I know.
about how do we make us
Their
as
best-
a people better.
Sure, their best chance to succeed in
Is now.
life is now in
Correct.
America.
I
the
agree.
System
I
is
agree. I
on
don't
their
agree.
side.
That doesn't mean that we stop having these
Conversations.
Of course.
Yeah, yeah.
And we
No, I agree
stop
with you. Yeah.
pushing each other. As much as I hear what you're saying, and I'm willing to take it on the chin, you know what I mean? I'm not saying my opinion
Yeah.
is right. I'm saying I'm willing to have the conversation and willing to take it on the chin because I'm curious enough to know how it is from the opposite side. I'm a female. I'm a 40-year-old female single mom. You
Sure.
guys are 30-something-year-old males who have their life
little
or
bit.
situations,
Damn,
whatever
like
that
50.
they lived. So let me hear your viewpoint on it.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is where I'm at. I'm not saying that I have a definitive anything because I am not, and I'll be the first
Right.
one to say it, educated enough in all aspects to have a definitive role, but I want to be more educated, so I want
Yeah.
to have the conversations so that I can say maybe I facilitate a solution in the future.
I'll never
because-
deny that racism exists. Obviously,
But it's
you know,
our responsibility to educate
But
these
here-
kids below us.
absolutely. We have to educate them in the right way, though.
That's why I want to have
Put
these
it this way.
conversations.
Look, again, we're the melting pot of the globe, right?
Mm-hmm.
America. We're mixing all these cultures. For whatever reason, I don't even understand it. Our government, our media, they try to push this homogenization of society where they want everybody to be the same. Sex, culture, ethnicity, like for
Agreed.
whatever
and we need
reason.
to be
I don't even know
individuals.
why.
Agreed. We need to be
It's
individuals.
okay to be different
It
and
is.
be proud of who
And
you
question.
are, whether you're black, white, Hispanic. I don't give a shit if you're Irish, you're gay, you're whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Just be proud of who you are. It's been known, and we've talked about this before, Josh and I, on this podcast, that people flourish amongst their own, whether it be they're Italian, Chinese. That's why Chinatown succeeds. That's why Little Italy succeed. Koreatown. So to say that everybody needs to fucking mix and everybody needs to get along, that's bullshit.
I don't think
That's all
everybody needs to
bullshit.
mix and get along, but I think
Bullshit.
everybody needs to be willing to have the conversation of mutual respect. Because I think that's something that lacks. We still sometimes, and the things that are even said or talked about on mass media, which I don't even watch the news like that for this reason, because I feel like everything's so
fuck the
skewed
news.
one way or the other.
Of course.
I'd rather have the conversation. But like, I don't think everybody needs to be the same, but everybody needs to be willing to hear somebody else's viewpoint. You need to be able to respect the viewpoint of somebody else and maybe learn something, maybe
some
not learn
viewpoints
something.
are just
I'm
stupid,
not
though,
saying
When you say
I say respect,
that
I mean
sounds
hear it out.
like revere it. Nah.
No.
I'll
I mean,
acknowledge it.
I mean hear it out.
No.
Okay, that's a better word. If that's the one you
I'll
like, I
acknowledge
mean
somebody's-
hear it out. If it's worth hearing and it's worth applying, take what you can learn from it and utilize it. If you can't, move on to the next and try to figure out something. The whole game is I just want everybody to have the best life possible.
Of course.
Period.
No, I'm mixed. I'm white and Filipino. I've experienced racism in my life. Not to the point where obviously I'm being beat or anything like that. But I realize, as you grow, you grow up. You mature and you understand that, like, you know what, white people don't. It's not even white people. Actually, other cultures, no matter what it is, don't understand your culture.
They don't.
Until it's, you have this education and whatever. I don't know shit about, Brandon, what ancestry are you? You're Cambodian. I don't know shit about Cambodians, right? So, like, for the Cambodian culture and what they do in the home country and blah, 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 is foreign to me. I have no fucking idea what they do and what's considered sacred and not and yada, yada, yada. So it might seem like there's this clash, and that's okay, though. That's actually good. That's, you know what, there's a learning opportunity there. For whatever reason, America tries to just, everybody should be okay with everybody. I don't believe in that.
I'm not saying be okay with it, but be willing to talk about it. We
Right.
can agree
Oh,
to
we can talk about it.
disagree.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't have no problem with anybody saying
yeah.
we can agree
Well, I know you have, like,
to disagree.
mixed children, and that's cool.
But I just want to make sure that at least I'm facilitating a conversation.
Yeah.
I'm opening a dialogue about
Right.
it.
Right.
We
learning
might not
shit,
see
yeah.
the way. But
No,
that's
but
what
you
I
gotta
say.
be
That's
able
what
to
it
at
boils
least
down
talk
to.
about it.
Talk about it. You know what I mean? Again, back to relationships. The biggest failure is we're
Speaking
not
of-
willing to talk about it.
Speaking of talking about it, let's talk about Cambios cuts for a second. This is going to take a quick minute to thank our dearest sponsors, the people who give us money to read this message.
Yeah.
But anyways, Cambios cuts, right? It's my barber. That's why the boy is always looking so fresh. He cuts my kids' hair and everything. But anyways, back to the goody goodies. If you're looking for a barber shop, right, and you're in the area, if you're in Rhode Island, look no further than Cambios Cuts. They're at 190 Putnam Pike in Johnston. And reachable at 401-580-6651. I don't have to read the fucking bulletin board about it. I mean, it's a barber shop. They're great. He's been a barber for like 20 years, and then he started doing his own thing, and he's been successful. He's got a good team of barbers there, so if you need a good cut,
My son goes there as well. I
Oh,
can vouch.
look at
Perfect.
that, baby.
Love
Look at
it.
that.
You know what I'm saying?
He sees the same.
Who cuts his hair?
I think it was Justin that was cutting his hair before,
Yeah,
but
Justin
he hasn't been in a while just because it's kind of far from my house. But they do dope cut, they do dope work.
you
I'll
get the
vouch
whole
for
towel
it. Yeah,
face,
yeah.
I get the hot towel, the face massage. He squeezes my thighs for me. I
Right.
pay extra for that.
I
but
like that. I like that.
I get the wash before and after. So yeah, if you want a nice little, like spa day, self-care day, or you just need a quick temp, go see my boy Aunt Cambio at Cambio's Cuts. Love you.
Oh, man.
You're up, baby.
Oh my! Is this the time for Division Street?
Yeah. Speaking of conversations,
All right. So
speaking
hey,
of systemic racism,
this is so awesome. Hey there, Rhode Island drivers. Like, why did you have to start it out that way? It's the J2 podcast. Like, come on, guys. Jeez.
fucking read the ad.
I'm here to tell you about the best auto service in town. Can I just say, hey, listen, look, Division Street Auto Sales and Service. If you're tired of dealing with the hassle and uncertainty of finding a reliable mechanic, you know, that's really big. You want to go to somebody that you can trust, obviously. I always take my car. I have been for years to George. You got to ask for George at Division Street Auto. They're going to give you, you know, trustworthy, honest work. They're a local family-owned business in Pawtucket with a reputation for honesty and trustworthiness. I just said that. That spans over a decade. No matter what type of vehicle you drive, they've got you covered. From cars to trucks to SUVs, their expert technicians have the knowledge and experience to tackle any job. And unlike some shots. And unlike some shops, they will try to upsell you on unnecessary services. George does not do that. Go to Division Street Auto Sales and Service. They'll always put your needs first. They'll give you an honest assessment of what your vehicle needs and what can wait.
That
so
was
you can
beautiful.
make an informed decision about your
still
car's
going.
maintenance. Anyway, personally, I've been taking my vehicles to Division Street Auto Service for the past 10 years. I actually have, you know, I know you wrote that on here, but I've been taking my Ford F-150, the Test,
The test.
Yeah.
test.
The test.
Have you programmed
Well,
the
I say
horn?
that I say that because it's an electrical vehicle, and you know it doesn't have like all the mechanics. So
Right.
even electric vehicles, George services, their friendly staff always makes me feel welcome, and they go above and beyond to make sure my car is running smoothly. Thank you, George. So if you're in need of auto service or a new ride, don't hesitate to give them a
long
call.
one, huh?
Yeah, man, you fucking got like a page here, man.
Breathy, bro. Damn.
I can be reading this shit. I'm all like fucked
You're
up.
done now.
So listen, go to Division Street Auto, ask for George, call 401-723-7080, or stop by 595 Division Street in Pawtucket. You won't regret that shit.
You'll be glad you did.
Done deal.
All right. That was cool. It's always nice and a seamless breakup of the topics. Where were we? We got a couple comments. Milton says something about credit card swiping them.
Milton also said that every time we say collateral damage, we need to take a shot.
Yeah, that's all.
Credit card
finish
swiping.
that
Nah,
bottle.
there's no more.
What is Milton saying?
Well, because I have, okay, so Cheri
Maybe-
has
maybe
a
don't say it.
terrible
Maybe don't say it.
habit.
Wait, maybe
Someone said
don't say
hallway
that.
J. What does that say?
Maybe don't
Until
say
she
that.
credit cards you in the hallway. What are you? What are you talking about?
because
Don't say
I
it.
am.
This is
Are you
recorded.
gonna fucking like chop me in my asshole? Is that what you're gonna do? If you do that, I'm serious. It's on.
Don't say
I'm
it.
not kidding.
Don't say it.
I will fuck you up in the office. I'm not
Don't
playing.
say it. It's recorded, Cherry.
If you
Just
credit
know,
cards, I'm
just know
serious.
there's an 80-20
Yo,
rule. Just
don't
80-20.
admit any
80-20
guilt.
it, baby.
Don't admit
80-20
If
it.
out of nowhere, Cheri gets body slammed. You know why?
It's okay. I own it. I'm willing. Look, if I scare you or do some shit to you, some fuckery, and I catch the bad end of the
Oh
stick,
my
I'm so for it.
I'm only there once a week, but I promise you that one day is hell.
Jay shows up with face paint crawling through the hallway.
Low crawling towards Cheri desk.
just know, Cheri can hang. Cheri's with the fuckery. Okay.
I,
Cheri's with the fuckery.
I was golfing with the Giorgio the other day.
Yeah, yeah.
And he was sitting on like the side of the golf cart, you know, just smoking a cigar.
You gotta have him on.
And I went to
You do.
fucking dude. I went to like just lightly because you know when you're wearing shorts, bro, sometimes you get tight. You can see the nut. I saw his nut just tight in his shorts. I went to just tap it with my putter. Oh
Yo.
my god,
Yo.
bro! I hit it so much harder than I tried to. He fell out.
man,
He
he
fell
fell-
out of the car. He's
Bro,
like,
that's not
"Ah,
cool,
bro."
guy. That's
No,
just not
it
cool at
wasn't
all,
cool. I
man.
felt so bad, bro.
So I can go
'Cause it
two
was
different
just-
ways with this.
I mean, that's like when it's hanging and somebody
Oh,
fucking.
it wasn't
like,
even
you
hanging.
don't
It
even.
was just like wedged. So there was nowhere for it to
There's
move
no
after
protection.
the hit.
There's no,
bro.
like-
It was.
It took the whole
Oh,
impact.
it took all the impacts, bro.
God
I thought it was like this. It was like this.
Oh man, why you gotta hurt?
All right,
Oh,
I'll tell
man.
y'all both stories.
I didn't do it on purpose.
The first one
I
is
didn't-
with
I did.
Giorgio. We was in the office and he was doing something on his phone and I slapped his phone out of his hand and it like fell. So I went to go bobble it. Well, yeah, no, I bobbled balls and cock for fucking 3 or 4 different times. It's so awkward.
He's
Okay.
like, he's like, my phone's on my
I was
desk.
like,
What are you doing?
I don't know what to do right now. It just happened. So
Wait,
it was
what?
what it was. So that's the first story. The second story is I played putt-putt with my son's father on our first date. And he was standing next to me and I decided to be Tiger Woods. So I was like, 4. And I hit him right in the face. I broke his nose and chipped his front tooth. I met his mom in the emergency room that
Wait,
night
with the club or the ball?
with the club. I still feel the vibration if I think
What's
about it.
wrong with
terrible.
you?
I know. Like,
Yo,
what
it
the
was
fuck?
so. I
You
know,
didn't think
obviously.
to not swing it like that with him
Bro,
close to
in
you?
my defense, I was 22 years old. Okay, it wasn't like
That's
I
not
was.
a defense.
I was.
That's a grown up.
Like, no, but I'm
still an
saying,
adult.
like, we still make stupid decisions at that age. Okay, like it was
Facts.
a stupid
All right,
decision.
I
Okay,
get it.
like it cost me $1,500. I paid for his veneer, so every time he looks in the mirror and sees his front tooth, he thinks of me. However, but yeah, it was crazy. So that was my 2 different routes with the story that Josh told.
Damn.
So you juggled Andrew's nuts.
And broke someone's nose and front tooth.
Jeez. What is this? the Rudy rule?
Welcome to Cheri.
Those 2 stories are not related to each other at all. Why did you put them together like that?
Because you said something about hitting Andrew in the nuts, and then you
Okay,
said
so
something
you
about
just
the
took
golf
nuts
club.
and golf. She's
So
like, well, I
yeah, it
have
was
one
like,
story about nuts, one story about golf.
we might as well make them both work. Here you go.
Oh man, no,
There's
I've
some
told,
content for you.
I've Drew, bro. He's weird. I tell him he wants to come. You know,
What do
he
you mean
says
he's
he
weird?
wants because he says he wants to come on. I said, bro, you can come on anytime you want. He's like, nah, I don't want to go on. I just wanted to be on the podcast with you. Now you don't invite me on. I'm like, I'm inviting you on right now. He's weird, bro.
Andrew, stop being a
Can we
bitch.
can we
Get
can
on
we
the
3-way
fucking
call him
podcast.
right now? Why don't we 3-way call him and see what he's up to?
Yeah, let's call
Connect
him.
me, connect
Come
me,
on.
bro.
I'm just saying. At the end of the day, why not?
Yeah.
What are we calling him for?
Because he doesn't want to be on the podcast, so we're kind of forcing him to at this point. Ask him how he felt about
Hey,
being hit in the
Milton.
nuts.
I love you, man.
Yeah, much
Thank
love,
you for
Mel.
all the hard work that you do.
All the time, all day, every
He don't
day.
work hard anymore.
No, he does.
That's not true. I'm not even
Milton's a
gonna allow
fucking
you to
man.
say that. Like you ain't gonna say that about my people. My
do.
people
You know
work
what?
hard
I feel
every
like-
day, nose to the
Everybody
grindstone.
works hard every day.
So-
I know,
Facts.
Milton.
Everybody does.
But I can only stand up for those that are under me.
No, that's not true. You can stand
Wow.
up for everybody.
I stand up for everybody,
just
but
got
I
the
can't
position,
speak.
man. You
But
just
I
like
can't
fucking,
speak
like,
on their work
everybody
ethic.
under me.
Jay, would you want me speaking on your work ethic? Work ethic? I
It
don't
don't
know
sound like you
you
should
that
be speaking
well.
on anything right now.
I got whatever. Skirt. It's all good.
What do you mean?
Just. Would you want me to be the one to vocalize how good of a sales rep you are? I haven't worked with you long
course.
enough to do that.
I want you
I
to,
say
yeah.
that you have good deals, but at the end of the day, like
No, you
I
can't.
can't speak on you personally. Milton works for me. I can
you
speak
can.
on my team, so I want to speak on them. I want everybody in the company to do good because we all get the check signed by the same company. At the end of the day, is that not correct?
All right, I'm with you. I'm with you.
You know, we get our check signed by the same company.
This is the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
What?
I'm trying to call Andrew from my contacts, and it's opening high level when I hit the call button.
That's
fuck is wrong with
he's
this
telling
phone?
you to work.
What is wrong with this phone?
I think you're just stalling, guy. You don't want to put Andrew on the air.
You think I'm stalling?
Stalling. Yeah.
Stalin or Stalin? Because
Stalin.
that's some different things. Can I tell my favorite joke on the air?
Yeah, absolutely. Fucking go. Just
How do you make a
Can you hear
woman
it ringing?
sound like a dolphin?
Just let me know if he picks it.
hold on. Wait. How do you make a woman sound like a dolphin?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Milton.
Try to
says-
stick it in her ass. She's like,
Good lord. There's kids that
got
watch
voicemail?
this. No,
Or
there's
is
not
it
kids
him?
that watch this. What is
You asked
What
him
is
that.
wrong with our guests? Like,
Is it Andrew or is it his voicemail? It's nothing?
Hello.
All right.
Hello.
Oh, I hung up. Let me call him back now. Yeah.
hold on, can we go back to the
Oh, there he
dolphin real
is, there he is,
fast?
there he is.
What do you want to know about the dolphin? That's the exit.
Hey,
only.
Poppy.
Hey, Andrew.
You ever, Cheri, you ever sound like a dolphin?
Never.
That's because she didn't stop it. She didn't go,
So
She
my
went, ooh, 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 ooh.
my rule is you make
never
me.
sound like
She's
a
like an
monkey?
owl.
No,
Oh,
my rule
monkey.
is if you want me to sound like a dolphin, let me make you sound like one first. Milk the
Chill.
prostate.
Speak into the mic.
Are you fucking crazy?
But it's feedback.
Who do you hear?
The feedback. Hey, what's up, Gabados?
What feedback? Like beep? Like that shit? Interesting.
What do you mean first?
What's
Jeez.
up? Can you hear us?
He can hear anybody with a mic.
All right, so what's up? Yeah, on the podcast, we called you in to see what's good. I wanted to know how your nuts fail after Josh hitting them with the golf club.
You big ginger bitch.
They're a little sore. I'm not gonna lie.
We want to
Ask
know
him.
how Andrew feels about the political climate. You'll be on the phone all
Does-
fucking day.
Yeah, let's open some views.
All right. Ask him if he wants to come on.
Do you want to come on? Josh
As a
wants to
guest.
invite you on as a guest.
Formally and officially right now.
Formally and officially right
While
now.
we're live
Andrew,
and recording.
Stop being a bitch.
Live
Get on
and
the
recording.
podcast.
You heard that? Don't be a bitch.
I mean, I suppose I can be.
Is it a yes or a no?
He said he's supposed to can be a yes.
Okay.
All
What
right,
dates do you
all
have
right.
available? Let's book this right now. Send out the invite.
All right, hold on.
Why don't we?
Fucking,
Why
hey,
don't we
you
talk
part of
about the political
scheduling?
climate?
What's
though?
going on here?
You want to talk about the
She does it
political
all.
climate? What's your thoughts?
No,
Yeah.
we don't want to hear his thoughts. Tell him we'll do Monday the 22nd.
Monday the 22nd, Josh said.
Monday, the 22nd.
Yes, of May.
No, of April.
Of April, tomorrow?
Yo, how busy
Andrew's-
What are you talking about?
Andrew's really big on supporting the the trans movement.
You support the trans movement, Andrew?
Don't
Careful.
Don't do it.
Careful. Careful.
All right, we're going to let you go. You got your invite.
Love
booked.
you.
We love you. We'll talk
Love
to
you,
you later.
love you.
Bye.
Love you.
Isn't that cool that we can like call him in like that?
Right.
Because that's gonna be on the actual.
What do you
podcast
think about the
now,
trans
too.
movement? This whole fucking push for transgenderism and blah 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 blah. What do you have any opinions?
Okay, so we'll just, I mean.
I have a feeling you're gonna give a real safe ass answer.
Well, my daughter just recently came out to me at 11 years old and was like, I think I like girls, and I think I do this, and I think
that
I do
has nothing
that.
to do with transgenderism.
It doesn't have to do with transgender, but it opens the conversation of this whole LGBTQ,
Well, I don't wanna get
whatever the
into
case
the
may
It's
be.
like,
people.
it
I
opens the
believe-
conversation of
listen.
asking her if she wants a dick.
Listen, I believe you identify however you want to identify, but when it comes down to
All right, somebody comes
science
to you.
and gender, there is
Somebody comes to you that works
and
for you,
male.
and they say, "Hey, look, my pronouns are fucking trans testicles.
Black
I don't
hammer.
know, whatever." How do you being a
I refer to them as that. If that's what they
Trans
choose,
testicles.
it does not affect. Listen,
All
it
right.
does not affect how
Wait
I
a
do
minute.
business day to day. I refer to you
what if
however
they say,
you're
"Hey,
comfortable
look,
with.
if my pronouns are I'm the boss."
That's
You
fine.
fuck with it?
That is not fine, Cheri.
No, no,
Shut
no,
up.
no, 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 no.
Are you
This
being
is-
real?
Hold
Talking
on. And
Milton
this
all
is
day.
no. This
Yes,
is why
boss
I say
daddy.
it. This is
Yes,
this
boss
is,
daddy.
This is why I say it's fine.
'Cause you're
Because
lying.
We're gonna get tied up on titles. At the end of the day, I'm the one that makes the decisions. I'm the one that makes sure that things are getting done.
So how are you gonna handle that?
identify however you want to identify.
I know, but
It's a mutual
they can,
respect.
but I'm saying, like, are you going to address them as the boss?
I can address them as a boss if that makes them feel comfortable. It doesn't change the fact that I'm still the fucking boss at the end of the day. It doesn't change the
Yeah.
fact that I get paid to
I don't
make the
think
decision.
I don't think the intent was to discredit your
But I'm
title
saying,
or
but I
position.
think that's why he went that route. So I'm saying I don't have a
No.
problem with whatever
the
your
route was just 'cause
identification
it's
is.
like, it's
All right,
fuckery.
if
and
it's
you-
like sexy asshole or whatever. Let's just
It doesn't matter. Like we're
you
getting
address-
so we're getting
you
so
play
tied
that
up
game.
in what you want me to address you as.
Yeah,
It's
right,
like
right,
a
right,
name
right.
at this point.
Okay, all right.
You know what I mean? We're getting tied up in that. I want to
just trying
address
to-
you with mutual respect,
it's not a
regardless of
name.
whatever
It's
that
not
looks
like
like
a
to
name.
you.
It's a pronoun. A name is something that's tied to an individual. There's uniqueness to it.
Mm-hmm.
A pronoun is, it is what it is. It's he, she, they, them.
It makes them feel comfortable. What's the difference? What,
huge
as a
difference.
basic human right, what does it matter?
I mean, to me, it matters
If
in
it's
the sense
if
of
it's
like
influence our laws and stuff, then let's open the conversation. Let's talk about it. Let's have the 80-20 rule. You know what I'm saying? We're never gonna make everybody happy. That's one of the issues. Is everybody tries to make everybody happy.
Well, here's
we
the
grew up in
reality.
a
I
time
don't-
where we
I
weren't
don't
all
do that.
winners.
the
We
transgender
lost
community.
sometimes.
They're a minority, right?
Yes, they are.
Should the majority change what has worked for thousands of years in communication? Should they change for the sake of the minority?
Does it hurt society as a
I'm
whole?
asking you a very specific
I'm-
question. Just say yes or no. 'Cause
But
it's a
you're
yes or no question.
pigeonholing me into a yes or no because I'm asking
Oh,
you,
good
word.
does it hurt
Hey,
you
good
as
word.
a person
Good use
to
of the word
do
Well, wait,
that?
hold on. You can't answer a question with a question. I'm just
Why
saying.
not?
Well, okay. You
Because
can, but
I'm playing devil's advocate here. Does it hurt anybody? If it doesn't hurt anybody, what does it matter? If
all I'm
if
asking
you
is
come
that
into my business,
should the majority of people change
nobody should
their
be,
language?
Nobody should be forced into changing anything that they feel that is a detriment to their character. That's how I feel about it. If it affects you on that much of a moral level that you can't give me respect or whatever the case may be because of however you feel, then I
trying to hear you, yeah.
respect how you feel and we're
Yep.
going to do what we do. However, I feel like if it doesn't bother or it doesn't affect you
Mm-hmm.
or it doesn't affect the majority as a whole,
Right.
why are we still like fighting over what we call people?
Because there's a point where you're enabling something that's maybe not healthy for that
Okay,
person.
So if
For
my
instance,
daughter,
hold
if my
on,
daughter
let
comes
me
to me
give you-
tomorrow and
let me
says,
give you a
"I
perfect
want to be,
example.
I want to be a robot," I'm supposed to not. I'm not going to say you're a robot because you're not. You're a
Why?
human being. However, why do you feel that way? Let's have the conversation. Let's talk about it. What's the deeper root? What's
Okay.
going on? Let's open a discussion so we can feel mutually heard and beneficial. Because again, that's always my thing that it goes down to. I'm not ever going to tell you you're completely wrong and I'm completely right,
Well,
because I can't say that.
you
The only person that
should-
has the
Alright.
right to say that is whoever you
No,
believe in.
your
at the
daughter
end of
is
the day.
not a robot, even if
She's
she
not.
says that she is.
She's not. But this is part of what happens when we allow everybody to have a say into everything.
All right, so let me give an extreme example to try to prove a point.
More extreme
Your-
than her being a robot?
Yes, your daughter comes up to you and says, "Hey, listen, I'm doing heroin. I think it's the right thing to do."
I'm going to tell her you're wrong. I don't agree
But
with
why
you.
would you say that if she thinks it's right?
I just like I would tell her she's wrong for being a robot. That doesn't mean that I wouldn't hear her
Okay,
out.
all right. So now
It
we're on the
doesn't
same
mean
page.
I wouldn't hear her out.
Right.
It doesn't mean that we ain't going to have the discussion
So you think it's beneficial to tell people the truth
and let
based on your
everybody
beliefs
make their
that-
decisions.
Yes. Okay, all right. That's what
Because
was
why
trying to
should
get
I
at.
force you to anything, and why should you force me to anything? But we should have a conversation to see where our boundaries lay.
It's probably a good thing to not enable people if it's a detriment to themselves, right? Mm-hmm. To not play along with that because that's
I mean, but now
it's harming them.
now we get into a psychology that I don't completely understand.
Well, I think
I
you
don't
do understand it because
I mean-
you just answered the question very fast. You said, "Hey, look, if my daughter says, hey, doing heroin is good," you're probably going to say, "No, it's actually not good."
Because we know it's not good. We know it's
right.
a
Okay.
downfall.
All
You
right.
know what I'm saying? But we still should have the conversation because
Yeah.
you can't.
So if your daughter came to you and said, "Hey, listen, I feel like I'm a cheetah," you'd probably say, "Hey, look, it's probably not a good idea to."
yeah.
think
Why
that
do you
way."
feel like you're a cheetah? What's going on in your world that makes you feel like you're a cheetah? Why is it
But the
because
same thing would apply with sex, also, right? Like
I-
she said, "Hey, I
yo.
feel like I'm a boy."
the problem with my household is I almost have too many open conversations. My kids have an open forum to speak their mind on,
And it's not to make them feel
whatever,
like shit. It's
No,
actually
it's
it's coming from
to prepare them.
It's coming from a place of love and concern.
Correct.
Because you want somebody to understand, hey, look, I understand that you feel a certain way,
Mm-hmm.
but that's not reality. And I'm trying to look out for you.
And again, we go back to the 80-20 rule. I'm willing to hear everybody's 20, but 80% of the time, this
Like
is
if
what
I said
it
I
is.
have a 6-pack,
I mean, you might be able, you might have a 6-pack. I don't
believe
know.
it.
It's
You got to
relaxed
show
muscle.
me. You got to show me. I don't know.
I'm not about to put that on
Relaxed
camera.
But
It's
no, I
relaxed
feel
muscle.
you. At the end of the day, like, but again, everybody's open to their own interpretation of shit.
But no, hold on. Wait, when you say something like that, again, that's a very safe answer. There is a truth and a reality.
There's always
Like everybody,
there's always
meaning-
there's always story A, story C, and somewhere in the middle.
boy, you are a great politician. Holy shit. You really are. Like you always find that like
Tread the line.
Yeah, you tread the line. You're walking
I
that
think you know what I
fence.
think that is. That I think that's just like a fear though, of offending somebody.
It's not a
So
fear
you're
of
trying to,
offending
like,
somebody.
what
It's
it-
the fact that I
what you
want
do, though,
everybody
is,
to
like,
be
you-
heard. So why would I
Yeah.
shut you down without
Nobody's
even
asking
hearing
you to
you?
shut people down.
But not everybody
nobody's saying
needs to
that.
be heard.
But some people take that. I mean, why though? Why doesn't everybody need to be heard in
Because
some
there's-
extent?
hey, listen, do you
I'm
think
not
that-
saying that
let-
I take
all right.
I take advice from you,
Let
but
me
I
ask you
hear
this.
you.
Does Hitler need to be heard?
No,
Why?
because everything that he stood.
Wait,
well,
hold on.
I can't
2
even say
seconds
that.
ago, you
I
said
can't
everybody.
even say that. I
Wait,
can't even
hold
say
on.
that.
Wait,
I
hold
can't
on.
even
Wait,
say that.
hold
I
on.
can't even say
2
that.
seconds ago, you
No,
just
wait
said
a second.
everybody needs to be heard.
I'm gonna say I can't even say that. Hitler does not need to have his.
But you just
his
said
values put out. But yes, somebody should have heard him in a private room in fucking closed doors and told him that there was something wrong. Hitler
So
needed
not
to be
everybody needs to
addressed.
be heard. Will you agree to that? Not everybody's thoughts and ideas need to be published out there and put out there. Hitler's
yeah.
ideas don't need to be out there.
No, they don't. I
Okay,
mean,
all right.
they
So now we're getting somewhere.
they don't. Like I said, I'm not trying to say yes or no to anything. I'm just trying to say like I want.
I know you're not trying. I'm
conversations to
trying
be
Yeah, but you know,
had.
here's the thing, Cheri, is like there's something to be said though, where you could answer a question honestly, and we can talk about what our actual feelings are versus saying things the right way
But-
as to not offend anybody on either side.
No,
you know
no,
what I
no,
mean?
no.
'Cause
My
you're
thing
just
is,
like,
I don't want to hear feelings. I want to hear facts. I want somebody to educate me so I can have an opinion that's worth being heard. Because I don't want to be in that population of people that aren't willing to be heard or aren't worth being heard. So therefore, I want to hear what needs to be said. I don't have an established opinion. I'm not going to say yes or no or here or there in something that I don't fully believe. I believe humans should be treated as humans. I feel like every human has a right to a certain worth, dignity, and respect. And I feel as humans, we have the right to that to give to people. And we can either choose to allow our ego and emotion to affect how we interact, or we can take a step back and have educated conversations to take what we need and to form the most educated decision to see where our processes are broken and to fix them and to help to make the next generation better than the way our parents left us.
Shut the fuck up.
That's a great closing argument.
Cheri, I love you, but come on. I'm gonna be fucking real. Like,
Cheri's like, all right, there's 300 million people in the country. How can I appease all of them in this sentence?
That's
Yes,
not
that is-
true.
it's not.
That's not true. But
look,
do you not feel that we should do that?
Hold on. No. Listen, I agree with what you're
That
saying.
was just a
And
lot
I
of
think-
fluff.
I think
That was the
yes.
fluffiest sentence I've ever heard
I
in my
think
life.
both sides of any argument agree with
I
what
feel
you're
like
saying.
my ear
Everybody
just
wants
got
happiness.
fucked by a flower.
I know, like
Welcome to
by a
it.
PC flower, bro.
yeah, that was like PC all the fucking way. I
Y'all
agree
are
with
terrible.
you.
I think
Y'all are
every
terrible.
human deserves health and rights. Yes.
Everybody deserves to be
Everybody
happy.
should be
okay. I get it.
Everybody
about
deserves
getting
to be
there.
heard.
Hey, listen. If you want
Right or
facts
wrong.
and statistics and stuff like that, you're gonna have at some point you're gonna have to pick a side. You're gonna have to pick and choose and make decisions. You can't fucking ride the fence your whole life because then you're just you're just stroking the fucking problem.
But I don't
You
want
like
to
how I
ride the
do that?
fence. I just want to make sure when I actually stand on a side that I am educated. When I can't
Absolutely.
answer your questions
course.
to say this law, that law, this thing, this case, that case, this, I'm not going to say that I have a firm stance because I know as a
Yeah.
human I need to be more educated.
All right.
That's the problem. See, we get older and we think, oh, at a certain point, we just fucking know everything. That's not the case. The whole point of life is a lifelong learning
everything.
education experience.
I know everything I need to know.
Yeah, you should work.
Do
in
you
HR,
really?
For real.
I should work in HR.
Yeah, you should.
I
You
shouldn't
should
work
be
in
like-
HR.
You got
The
like the
fucking
You haven't
diplomatic
heard.
fucking.
You haven't heard the
Should
flip
never
side
answer
of
a
it,
question.
though.
Never
know,
answer a
right?
question, bro.
Hey, at some point, there's gonna be a time when you actually take a fucking stance. You actually
It
believe
will
in this.
when I feel that I'm
Educated
educated
enough,
enough
yeah.
to make that stance. Right now I want to know. I'm behind the eight ball. I was brought up in a situation where
Behind
my
the eight ball on
parents
what,
weren't
though?
the most educated on everything. They didn't have a stance.
You're
on
just like, I
certain
don't know shit about anything.
No, that's not true. My parents are smart. They did what they had to do. They lived life the way they had to live, but it was a different generation. They didn't necessarily have everything or all the opinions that they had on everything. So the fact that I came up in a generation where the internet became readily available and now I have the obligation to myself to educate myself and have these conversations and talk. I'm coming up on it. I'm 40 years old. I don't know. I heard you. I know y'all heard me
Say
say that
less.
before. I'm 40 years old.
Yeah.
So yeah, when I say I'm behind the eight ball, it's just these are things that I wish that I had a more open forum to when I was
When you were growing up.
21,
Yeah, yeah,
22.
What
Even-
things? Like the transgenderism thing you brought up?
No, like financial literacy, like political
Wow, you're
views, like
fucking
having to
scatterbrained
actually
right now.
have the conversation. No, I
We're
wanted
all
the
over the
ability
place.
to have the conversations of things that weren't necessarily in my spectrum as a
It's like you don't know what you don't know. You know what I mean?
correct. You know what I'm saying? So like I'm grateful for the opportunity to be in a
podcast like
technology Josh, I told you before. I love this. I love the fact that we have the
She's
opportunity.
like, I'm
to talk
grateful
like
you guys
this.
are giving me this platform.
Platform for what? Like to have
Just-
an open conversation?
Yeah, to
Yeah.
let everybody
I
know
bet
my
you
stance.
get the most comments
talk
off of
ab-
this podcast than you go off any other.
Yeah, we're
podcast.
doing a lot of talking about conversations. This
Yeah.
is
So
like,
let's include them.
it's
What's
like
your
when you
what's
know
your
when you used to
input,
have
audience?
in
from
corporate
YouTube?
America,
What do you
like
have
when
to
you have
say?
like a meeting to plan for another meeting.
Oh, so let's get into talking about corporate fuck off emails.
Just like that's always been a thing, dude. corporate passive
Can-
aggressive emails.
You're not even passive aggressive. Can I tell you
That's
that when it comes,
don't get specific.
I'm not no
all right?
specifics. When it comes to
Hey,
the
sometimes you
fuck
just
off,
gotta, like,
no. When
put
it
people
comes
in their place, you know
when
what
it
I'm
comes
saying?
to the fuck off
Like-
email, Josh has that shit to a fucking
I'm the king,
T. He can literally say, as per stated in my previous email, I appreciate your input and fuck off with best regards.
All right, it's not crazy.
Don't get specific. Yeah.
No, that wasn't
I know, he
specific.
tells
That
people to
was,
fuck off
that
without
was a
saying that.
generalization. I literally used the best fuck off responses professionally, and I tied them all into one. But no, I have respect for Josh's etiquette professionally
thank
to
you.
tell somebody
He chooses his
have
words
a
wisely.
great day. I
Have a
value
great
your
day.
input.
After I tell you to
but
fuck off, hey, have a
no,
great
thank
day.
you. Now I'm gonna decline. You know, like he's so
Have a wonderful, productive
his
day.
etiquette is perfect. I think you should actually do a course for the LMS because I think your etiquette is email
Oh,
specific.
fuck off course.
How to tell people to fuck off, but I was like,
How to tell people to fuck off professionally. You know, like you just.
You know, there's like we're laughing about it, but there are like whole TikTok threads to this.
I know
like,
there
trends.
are.
You ever see them?
The-
It's like, hey, how do I tell my boss X, Y, and Z professionally, but also like affirmatively?
Not only is it funny in the professional corporate field, but if you ever look at like lawyers that have to tell like baby fathers or ex-employers to fuck off,
yeah.
like the way that they just word
money.
it is just.
you know what? I
it's-
always fall in the. If you can't figure out the words, just be straightforward, honest, and that's like your last resort.
Well-
just be honest and let it kind of. People aren't
Yeah.
stupid. They know how you're gonna take
but
shit.
there's definitely a certain level of like diplomacy you have to have
You
though
do.
when working with
Intact
You
so
do.
many
orders.
people.
I
You
get it.
do. You do.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
it's not
spoken
ideal,
word is one of my
Especially
favorite
when
things,
there's
so
like
I love when
subordinates
people can.
involved. Like
That's
you don't want
really what it comes
Yeah,
down
you don't
to,
want to
yeah.
put somebody that's on your same level or even above your level. Like you don't want to put them on blast in front of
Right.
their subordinates. You never want to do that.
No,
BCC could be your best friend. I'm just saying.
Oh, stop, man. It's a rat. I'm never
Such a
accepting an
rat.
email from you. Ever.
Sherry's a
Ever.
snitch,
Never, ever.
dude.
I'm going to
It's
fucking like
not,
delete
it's
it.
not even a snitch. Just like
No,
when you
you-
feel
if you
that
got
you
an
don't
email
have
from
to.
Sherry, you
no,
just kick your
it's
fucking
not.
iPad
When you
out.
feel like you just don't have to engage in something
No,
because
no,
you've
no,
already
you're
made
talking
your
about-
point proven. It's just
You're
like,
talking
okay,
about
BCC,
BBC.
here we go.
I mean, BCC.
You know what the funny part is? Is some people probably don't even know what that is.
I know.
No, that's like a blind copy,
A blind
right?
copy
Yeah.
to somebody, yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Courtesy
because
copy.
So you
I've
won't
already
s-
stated
so
my
you
point.
won't see them on it.
So whenever I BCC somebody, it's already been to the
You're like,
point
hey,
of
this is between me
no,
and
no,
you
no, no,
and
no,
Jay
no,
Gotra.
no. We ain't playing those games. But at the end of the day, like when I BCC somebody, I've already stated. As per my last email, let me reiterate.
Let me tell you
I
again.
appreciate your input, and now it's to the point like
BCC is like-
can you just handle this? Can you just handle this? I'm sorry. Like sometimes you have to go that
I'm
route.
just gonna delete any email
Listen,
I get from you. I'm
I know
never
this
fucking
may seem
accepting an
confusing,
email. I'm not
but-
commenting. I'm not ever responding.
That's
ever.
not true. That's not true. I won't just do it to any situation.
Nah,
but like at some
bullshit.
point you
we
have
don't know
to.
that. We don't know that.
Nah, bro.
You're like fucking narc.
Josh,
You're a
Can't
fucking
trust
narc.
No. Josh can definitely speak on to my fucking validity. I will never
You're gonna
I will
backdoor
never bag
everybody.
anybody. I will never bag anybody. However, at the end of the day, if I've tried every
Sherry's like,
aspect
hey,
to
how are you doing?
politically
I'm like,
handle
fuck
this
you.
with you,
Fucking delete that shit.
here you go. Can you
How's your
please
day
handle
going?
this?
Fuck you.
Handle off. That's not true. That's not true. But
BCC,
I love how y'all
fucking
turn
Chris
that.
Schiavone and fucking and Jay just fucking asking me how your day's going. Fuck
She
off.
said I'm the BCC queen, bro.
That's not what I said. You guys literally turned this into
What
some
the
fucking
fuck?
bullshit.
And the whole fucking sales team
Look at
knows what's
Milton
going
even
on.
said, I heard Cheri loves communication. Can we pay attention to the comments?
Where did he say that?
Right there, Cheri loves communication.
That was an hour ago. What is that even talking
I
about?
want
Bro.
to talk more about this credit card and Jay. Like, what's going on there? Like,
Nah, yo.
So,
Don't say that shit. Everything's
don't swipe
recorded.
me while I'm trying to
look,
Can't
try to
listen.
go to the fucking
I
I'm
movie.
just saying, a
mentioned-
disclaimer for everybody: don't openly admit to sexual harassment on camera, please.
listen.
For the love of
listen,
God, don't
listen.
do
Can you just handle this? Listen, just handle this. I told you before. I love the shock value of not only you.
She's like the shocker. I love the shocker.
But me as well. So
punch
just know. Just
Wait,
know.
where are these going?
You're right.
That's not true. That's not true. Y'all so full of shit, but whatever. We'll just play it at that. Y'all so full of shit.
What do you mean?
So full of shit.
You all right? There's got to. So
I'm
for
just
Milton to
playing.
say that,
Milton to say that I
Jay's
love
like, hold on,
communication.
show me the
you
credit
have had
cards.
to have at some point. It's in your historical data that you have credit card swiped somebody.
That's
Bro,
not true.
That's not true,
Josh,
man.
have I
Why
ever
would he
credit
say
carded
that?
you?
Jay, that's not true.
I've
All right,
never
we're on
credit
camera,
carded
this is
anybody.
live.
I've never.
It's not true.
I, Cheri Gavin, have never credit carded anybody in my entire life.
Let's send
Can we
Jay
put
an
that
email.
onto
Jay
you
an
know,
email.
like
Oh man.
y'all
What
are
else we
terrible.
Delete every
Why
email you
why
ever
you
sent
trying
me.
to like for real though?
Just trying to get you to admit it on
the
camera.
next time you want something
It's like
done,
when
don't
you're
fucking come
when
fight.
you're doing like a what is it called, bro?
Why
When
you got Jay? Shut up. Why is that like a Google fucking? Is that
Pull
like
that
in your
gift up.
history?
I
Like,
bet
what's
you. I
going
bet you
on?
it's somebody snitching.
How about when fucking what's his name? Change that website to like.
I know,
Remember when
it's
Joe changed that website? What was the website about? It was like fucking. I don't know.
Josh, like I don't know, something gay as
It's
fuck.
like what country has the ugliest people or some shit. Jay Black.
Jay Black. That's the
down.
man right there, bro.
Why is he like somebody?
In the freestyle world, Jay Black.
Oh, freestyling. Cool.
Okay, I feel like we went off the left field. So why did you guys decide to do podcasts? Like, I'm really truly interested
Because
in
we're
this.
social ass motherfuckers. I mean, like this is more of a just a fun thing to do. It's not like
That's what I feel like it is. But
Yeah,
at the end of the day,
we want to have conversations.
But you're giving me such a hard time about the conversations,
I am
Jay.
not
Why
giving you a
is
hard
that?
time.
I'm going to tell you why he's giving you a hard time.
Challenging.
Jay.
I appreciate
All right.
that to every extent.
Mute him.
Just so
No, I'm
you
kidding.
know.
I'm just kidding.
I just want to
kidding.
know.
I love that Brandon's ready to go. He's like, shut up. We only had to mute somebody one time. I'm trying to read an ad.
Have you muted me this episode?
No.
Okay,
The only
perfect.
one time in the
He's
history of
muted
the
me like 4
podcast
times.
when I was trying to read an ad and him and this dude Rich just wouldn't shut the fuck up. I'm like, yo, we got to turn him off. No, but Jay, what I know about Jay is I don't know anything about Jay. No, like when he's asking for specifics, right? If he's challenging a thought, he sees right through like the fluff and the bullshit. You know what I mean? And the sentences that are like catered to just make people agree with, like pandering.
But
I mean,
that-
a lot of that. I'm just listen. That closing argument you did was like virtue
not-
signaling everybody to just
It's
be
not.
like, yeah.
It's not pandering.
Yeah.
It's. I want everybody to
Yes.
feel comfortable enough to have
Man, she
a
grabbed the
speak.
mic.
But it's
She was
like,
like,
it's like
to
no
have a
shit.
speak.
I don't know a what.
To have a speak, to have a say, to have something that they open about. Because as you know, not everybody is like the three of us who can just jump on a microphone, kiki, haha, bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like it ain't nothing.
Kiki,
You know what I'm
do you
saying?
love
Yeah. But I'm saying like not everybody can do this. They can't keep a conversation going.
But you know what? Then
so
they don't deserve to be heard.
engage somebody who might have a weaker voice but a smarter decision or a smarter input, I want to hear that. I want to hear I want to give the underdog the chance. Look.
You're the queen of fucking saying shit that don't fucking mean shit.
What do you mean? How are you gonna
God
play me
damn.
like that?
No, hey,
How
I love you.
Like
Hey,
for real,
we're-
some shit. No, you just.
Yo,
yeah,
no,
I
hold
don't
on.
even want to
Why
die
did
like
you
that because you just played me. Because at the end of the day, I respect his opinion, but I'm about to say that's some motherfucking bullshit, bro.
No,
No, I
Like
think
for real though,
Hey, listen.
because I said that I want to hear the opinion of. Look, because I'm willing to say
shit.
that my
She's switching her position.
I like that she knows to stay on the mic though. Like she's like,
she's turning this way.
I said that my decision is the end all
Zoom in
be
on it,
all
zoom in
that
on it.
I'm willing to open it up to somebody else that makes me.
I'm not gonna accept that shit.
Why-
Cheri, I love you. We work together. We're a team. I love you.
wow, you just like scaled down.
I'm
Like,
not
I love you.
fucking-
We
I'm
work
not
together.
accepting that
Hey, we're a
shit.
team.
I'm not accepting that shit. Don't. You can't feed me shit, man.
I'm not
Yeah.
feeding you nothing. I'm feeding
I'm the
you.
real
Let's have
deal.
a
You
let's
can't
have a
feed me
real
bullshit.
conversation. But I feel like you stuck in just in what you believe. Let's have a conversation. Let's have a
go there unless
conversation.
you're ready.
Why are you
I'm
saying
prepared.
Jay's
Go there
stubborn?
unless you're ready.
I've never
Jay
heard
is
any.
very
I've
stubborn.
never heard anybody call him stubborn.
No.
You're stubborn. You're stubborn. You're
Fucking
stubborn.
thick-headed motherfucker.
But I'm the motherfucker to engage you because you know
nah,
what?
don't
You're
listen.
stubborn, and I appreciate that. Look, I'm Italian, Irish, and Native American. So if there's one thing that runs in my blood is motherfucking stubborn.
I get it. Listen, I'm
Stubborn.
gonna tell you something about me, right? So like, people know me, right? They know that. Hey, look, Jay's he might be an honest dickhead, right?
I
I'll take
appreciate that.
I'll take that.
I
I'll take
appreciate that. Own that.
But they'll never say that I'm not fucking intelligent. They'll never say that
I
I'm
didn't
fucking
question your
stupid.
intelligence.
No, I'm just saying. Like Josh, you notice this is why I love you. You love me, right? I'm 100%. I keep it real. Like
I wouldn't engage in this conversation if I didn't value
Where's
your
this coming?
opinion.
Where's this
I
coming
guess
I
what I'm
would
saying
not
is that don't-
engage in this
Where's this
conversation
coming from?
No,
if
no,
I didn't
I'm just trying to
value
hold
your
on.
opinion.
Wait, I'm trying to
because
lay-
a bitch came in here with the fucking vagina,
Listen,
and now it's
Sherry,
like, okay,
Sherry.
hold on, he's questioning.
Hold on,
She's
wait,
questioning my inches. She's
Listen,
questioning my inches.
I'm laying the foundation down, so like, don't try to feed that shit.
I'm just
'cause
bullshitting with you. I'm bullshit. I'm being an asshole right now. I'm
okay,
being an
all right.
asshole.
Where's this coming?
Well, I just want to make shit
Why
straight.
did you just go off
'cause-
on a rant about people know I'm smart and people know I'm awesome?
Because
People
as
know
much
I'm
as,
awesome.
as much as he
People
tried
know
to
me.
question me right now,
I'm
he
intelligent,
knows that I'm
no,
not
no, no.
bullshitting.
'Cause
Like I'm opening the
don't-
conversation. I'm not questioning
don't
you.
fluff me.
I'm
Don't
not
fluff me,
fluffing you.
'cause
Look. So we
I'll
all know
call
a
it out.
fluffer
I'll
in
call it
porn
out.
is someone who makes it bigger. I'm not trying to make it bigger. I'm
right,
trying to address the
Fluff me.
I'm trying to address
Come
the
with
inches at
facts.
hand. Let's
Yeah,
address the inches at hand. Whether
Okay,
it's 4
all
inches,
right,
5
all right.
inches, 7 inches. Let's address those inches and let's not fluff it. Okay? Let's address the inches. You didn't think you was gonna run into a bitch like me, huh?
See, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't know if I'm ready to
got
drink,
you.
but I might
All
need
right.
a drink. I might need a drink.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave it at that.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, look.
Sherry, I love you. You
I
know
love
what I'm
you too.
saying?
Let's leave it at that.
Yeah. Let's just leave it at that.
Look, that is the
I can
example of
smoke
two
and drink
grown
and whatever. I'll
motherfuckers
always keep
who
it real.
realize that
I'll
we
keep it
agree
100.
to disagree. So we're gonna walk away from a topic
I'm not even
before
disagreeing
it
with
becomes
you.
an issue.
I just
Listen, it's okay to say I back down. It's okay to say that.
Who backed down though? Me or him?
I'm a tough motherfucker.
So wait
I
a
know
second.
that.
You want to put yourself in that place? Who backed down,
you
Joshua?
definitely did.
Me or him? Nobody
I'm
backed
gonna,
down.
I'm gonna go with you on that one. Yeah.
You're gonna go with me. Why? Why do you go with me?
For that reason,
did
I'm
I
out.
back down? Did I really back down though? Did I back down or
No.
did I challenge? Did I back down or did I challenge?
you better know what the fuck you're talking about before you challenge me.
What it was?
I'm
all
saying,
right,
not
what-
you. I'm saying just anybody.
No,
you
that's
better
what
know
you
what
just
the fuck.
said. Don't
Well,
try to
okay,
sugarcoat
all right,
it now.
all right.
You just said you better know what you're talking
You
about.
better
before
know what the fuck you're
challenge
talking
me.
about before you
So what
challenge
are we
me.
talking about? So we can have educated points because we can come back. Josh, you'll have me back in 3 weeks.
No. You listen. You.
Let's
What do
have a
you mean? No,
conversation
no.
about this.
We can't have her back.
No, of course we can. Of
I'm
course
like, yeah, we can have her back. He's like, no.
No, wait a second. Hold on. I was prepared for the unprepared shit, but I'm not prepared for the prepared shit. That's what you just said.
I almost wanted to give you a background beat for that. You were like freestyling for a second.
Yo, so I told you spoken word is my hobby. I love it.
I
We don't
appreciate.
even want to go there. Though.
I appreciate your PC fucking.
Look, I don't want to
You
be
walk
PC.
that line.
I don't want to always be PC, but at the end of the day, I also don't want anybody to feel like they don't have a right to be heard because people have a right to be heard.
No, the
whether
fuck they
we
don't.
agree, they
No, the
do
fuck they
though.
don't.
Whether we agree with them or
I'ma
not
say
is a whole nother thing. Look,
You
there's
just
levels
you
to this
just
shit.
said it.
Wait, hold on.
There's levels
Hold
to
on,
this
I'm saying.
shit.
Wait,
There's
wait.
levels to this
Cheri,
shit. There's
Cheri.
levels to this shit.
I-
There's levels to this shit.
If you start clapping,
No wonder
in
your
about 2
daughter
seconds,
thinks she's a robot.
she's gonna start clapping in like 2 seconds.
There's
She'll be like,
levels to
There's
this shit."
levels to this shit.
Yes.
All right,
People
hold on,
don't
wait, hold
come
on.
up to your ankles.
Listen.
Some people come up to your thighs.
would-
Some people come up to your ribs. There's levels. There's levels.
You
but
would-
everybody deserves to be
Hold on,
heard.
hold on.
Can we say that?
No.
Why?
You
You already said earlier that Hitler didn't deserve to be heard.
Exactly. You said.
Okay, so fair enough. I'll go back to that. Hitler does not deserve to be heard.
Okay. All right. So let's.
But can we have a discussion?
Of course we
About
can.
a conversation.
Yeah.
Can we have a discussion?
Yeah, we can talk
Which
about
means
it
you're
all
going to
day.
engage in ideology. ideology.
Shit, just like, hey, thank you for listening. Thank you for listening. This is the J2 podcast.
We're done. We're done.
It would have been mad funny if you just said, forget it.
Yeah, we're done. But anyways, at the end of the day, everybody still has a chance to state their opinion. Whether we take it or not is up to us. You know what I mean?
Everybody.
Like, you have that choice. You have that personal decision.
Yeah, I don't want to hear everybody.
Okay, so you don't. I feel that
I want to hear the intelligent,
who decides who's intelligent and who's not.
What do you mean?
Standardized
Who decides
testing.
that? So you only talk to what, the top 75%
No.
in the standardized test?
Nope. I'm saying that I'll consider an intelligent conversation.
But you have to hear that first.
Yes.
So back to the fact that we should hear conversations.
No, there's certain
whether
people that
somebody
that
deserves to
doesn't
be
even deserve-
heard
Nah,
or
nah,
not
nah.
is another thing. But we should hear conversations.
Everybody doesn't get a platform. Everybody doesn't deserve a platform. Like you admitted that. Hitler doesn't deserve a platform.
Hitler doesn't.
Right,
But
okay.
10 years ago in the alarm industry, would you believe that I deserved a platform? But now here
comparing
we are a
yourself to Hitler?
decade. No, here we are a decade later, and you're willing to offer a platform. I'm not saying
Right.
it's not in comparison to Hitler.
No,
Thank
but
you
I
very
I
much for
think-
being a dickhead. However, at the end of the day,
Yeah, I don't know why
at
you
the end
called
of the
her
day,
Hitler.
Come from?
because of personal growth and development, people deserve to be heard.
Well,
Again, you
Cheri-
take what you
I just grew up
need
to
and
dickhead level.
you
Hold on,
just
Cheri.
agree to
it
what you
sounds
heard.
like what you just said was that 10 years ago, you shouldn't have had a platform, but now you've become
10 years
educated
ago,
enough to where
I
you
still
should have
have
one.
been heard. It
Yeah, I
doesn't
don't
mean
think I would have not heard you 10 years
It doesn't
ago.
mean that I had anything to stand off of, but I still should have been
But-
heard because we all as people can educate ourselves by hearing a different opinion other than what we were either nurtured or natured by.
You think I'm a dickhead? I'm just still.
No, I
hold
don't
on.
think you're a dickhead. I was
think-
just
Called me a
talking
dickhead.
I
shit.
think what you're saying is right
I was
now.
just talking shit. I'm a
is
shit talker by
interesting.
nature.
Because I'm there's a bit of contradiction in what you're saying and what you were saying earlier. Because right now you're saying everybody should be heard, regardless of what they know,
To
what
an
their
extent.
education is. Hold on. But earlier, you even yourself, you wouldn't allow yourself to be heard because you didn't feel like you had any knowledge on either side of the subject. So you're like, I don't even have an opinion.
It's not that I wouldn't have been heard, but you still took the time to hear my feedback. I might not be a decision maker, but there is feedback and there is stuff that's relevant from people who are not even fully matured enough to make decisions. I admitted myself at the beginning of the podcast, I'm not someone who can always have the answer for everything. I don't even
of course,
claim
nobody
that.
is.
That's not me. However, I am willing to hear every side because my innate characteristic that helps build is to find broken processes and try to aid a solution. I
feel
can't
like when I-
fix it.
you know what
but
I think of
yet
when I hear
think
things
it's
like
still
that?
worth being heard.
And like things like like being heard and start the conversation or have these tough talks, those all sound like buzzwords to me. You know
Are
what I
they
mean?
though?
Yeah,
Are they
that's
though?
what they sound like to me because I
Well,
don't think
are
there's-
they though? Because
Yeah.
have you heard people
Listen,
recently?
I'm going to explain why they are. Because if you talk to 100 people, right? There's 3 people in this room right now. You're not going to run into many people that
There's
don't
4.
think. 3 other people. I'm sorry. I was counting us 3. I was counting us 3. I meant like 3 other
actually
people.
Okay.
But it's like you're not going to run into many people that don't think there should be conversations about important things. You know what I mean? So it's like
Agreed.
when I hear, that's why I was saying words like fluff or like.
But we're not
cop out of a
having the
stance.
conversation.
We literally are. We have these conversations every
We
week.
had them right now, but
Who's not having them?
let me engage. If we go out
Engage.
on an average fucking Friday night, are these the conversations that are being had, or is it about some
that's-
other shit?
that's in
why
your
I
circle,
say,
though. That depends
but
who you're
that's
with.
why I say it boils back down to the responsibility of the people. I'll never blame the government. I'm not going to blame a capitalistic society. I'm not going to blame that. It boils down to the people. We hold an individualized aspect of what we see as fit and to grow ourselves accordingly. But I feel like as a society, as a whole, we have let our fellow societorial member, whoever it may be, whether it's you, him, them, that one, this one, that one, wherever we engage, we let ourselves down because we allow ourselves to shut down conversations that are so pertinent and important. The same thing in relationships. We shut ourselves down to pertinent and important information that we need to know with people because we're scared of communication.
Those people that you're saying like we shut down. This is America. This is the most prosperous country on the globe.
It is.
People have succeeded. People that would normally fail in other communities and societies have succeeded. Put it this way.
Let's go back.
Hold on. Before you say anything. Let's just take the black community. The black community is more successful in America than any other fucking country on the globe.
Okay, but still 80-20 rule. It's still 80-20 rule. Let's have the conversation.
Hold on. Wait.
That's what you break it down to.
Would you agree to that?
They are exponentially more prevalent now than they were in the 1960s.
So any other country outside of America, the minorities succeed. Would you agree to that?
In any other country other than America, it's not like a wholeheartedly a melting pot. It's literally like when you're in Mexico, it's Mexicans. When you're in Canadian, it's Canadians. The open borders and stuff lead to.
Cheers, man.
Don't be
What do you
rude,
mean?
bro.
No, no, you can't shut that down. The open borders and stuff lead to we are the only country that has such an open border, that we have so many ethnicities and so many things that encompass what we have, that it is such a conversation. This isn't the same conversation in France or Germany or Australia.
Immigration isn't as
it's
popular.
not
Where you going
so
with that?
prevalent.
So what is,
because you're saying again. So what you said to me, what? We'll wind it back because
Yep.
All right.
what you said to me was everybody doesn't deserve a stance. Correct?
I didn't say anything like that.
Yo,
But
no. You said not everybody's voice needs to be heard.
Not everybody's voice needs to be heard.
Facts.
But because we're such a melting pot here,
Yeah.
we need to at least hear the ideology before we make a decision. Not everybody's voice needs to be considered, but we should still have the conversation because we are such a melting pot, because it is so many different cultures, because it is so many different things. It's not like, oh, okay, we're in North Korea, we're going to make the decisions for the North Koreans.
Well, here's the thing. All right, so I guess, it boils down to like, would we as a society be wasting time to hear
The constituents
abstract
of the United
fringe
States.
minority? For instance, I'll give you a perfect example. Let's say the black community is 13% of the population. Now, I'm not saying that black people shouldn't have a say. I'm not saying that. I'm saying should 13% of the population
shouldn't have a say.
dictate policy?
Did we bring that 13% over here?
Who's
Did
we?
we-
Who are you talking about?
The
right
Caucasians, the British, the UK, the people who originally set
Hey,
foundation
stay
in
focused,
America.
stay
Did we
focused.
bring them over here?
now? Okay,
Did we bring them over here? Did
Hold
we
on.
put
All
them
right.
at the
So if you're
minority
gonna go back
to
in
make
history-
the decision of whether or not they have a say? That's not fair. You're judging them off of their minority, but we literally
judging anything.
put
I'm
them
just
on
saying the
fucking
facts.
boats and brought them the fuck over here to a country that was not theirs, and now we want to justify whether or not they have a decision in that?
Who sold the slaves to the Europeans?
Whoever was back in the ancestry of time,
hold on.
back in the Americas,
It was
whether
black
it was
people.
British,
Africans.
they eventually sold their own people. Yes, whatever
Hold
the
on,
case
wait.
may
I
be.
just want to make sure that the record is straight.
Does that make it okay?
Yes.
Does that make it okay? It does not make it
Hold on.
okay. It
Yes.
does
Wait,
not
hold on,
make
wait.
it okay. It doesn't
can we
make
just-
it okay.
I'm
I
just-
don't know. It doesn't make it okay.
Wait, I get it. I know
Their
that you
own
feel
people
strong
sold
about
them
this.
into slavery. Whatever the case you
You
want to
know,
say.
right now there's 30 million.
That doesn't make it okay.
I get it. All right, I get it. I get it. But I just want to. I want to
That
make sure
doesn't
that
make it
I
okay.
want to make sure that we have the facts straight.
We have the facts straight.
Right
Their
now-
own people sold them into history.
Correct.
Who came into the United States, however
Slavery
they came about.
started-
I don't give a fuck. As a
What?
human being,
Yeah.
we have the responsibility.
we?
The people who live now
Okay.
have the responsibility.
But slavery started in Africa.
It sure fucking did.
Yeah.
If you lived back then,
We
would
didn't
you
go-
have taken people over here?
I guess I just want to.
if
make
you
it clear.
lived back then, would you take
Hold
people
on,
over here?
wait. Let's just,
If you lived back then, would
I don't
you
want to
take
be
people
emotional.
over
I
here?
just want to talk
Let's
facts.
take it from here.
Yeah, let's take it down a couple seconds.
I get where you're going with this.
No,
but
no, no,
I
'cause
don't
you-
like
you're
to
not
play
hearing me
devil's
out.
Let him
advocate.
let him
You're not
get
hearing
there.
me
Let him
out.
get there. Let him
Okay,
get there.
I'll let him get there.
Now we forgot.
No.
It's hard to look at a bitch who has real
no,
stern
no, no.
face,
Listen,
right?
listen.
Shit don't get off the pot, guys.
Africa, they had slaves, right? They were
Agreed.
solving a problem for our trade during that time.
So
they
did
were all.
Irish
Hold on,
people.
wait.
So did Irish people. So
Before
did
you
Irish
comment,
people.
let me
Let
just
him-
solve. Let me just
did
say
I'm
what
gonna
I'm
have to
saying.
moderate with muting that volume now.
Let me just say what I gotta say. So,
Okay.
Africa was offering a solution to our problem.
Okay.
Yes.
So we go back
We
to
didn't go
collateral
over
damage.
there and conquer and say, "Hey, fuck black people. We're gonna go over there and beat the fuck out of them and bring them over here."
Clip all that.
Africa was offering a solution to our problem here in America. They were. Hold on, wait.
justifies that
No,
justifies
wait.
to the cause.
Sherry,
Let
you
me
gotta let him
just
get the
finish.
point out. You gotta let him get the point out.
They were enslaving people already, right?
Mm-hmm.
Their own. They were enslaving people already. They offered a solution for us. We went over. I'm saying we as Americans. I'm not talking about we as white people
As
or black
British, because we were British back then. Okay, but yes.
people. Understand that
As Caucasians.
Okay, the British people. I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
you know this. The British people were the first ones to fight against slavery.
They were. They
Right.
were.
Okay.
To a certain extent. After
So
they already
this was
engaged
happening.
in it.
This was
After they already
This was
engaged
happening already
in it.
in Africa, right?
Correct.
Right now, today, there's 30 million slaves in Africa.
Can I ask you one question before you even go any farther? Before you go any farther, can I ask you one question?
Go ahead. I'm just,
You believe that any race, any nationality, any ethnicity, any person, any human, any sex, any gender deserves to be enslaved regardless of who they are as a human.
deserves to be. When you say deserve, that kind of. So I understand that it happens, and I understand in human history.
We fucked up.
No. Hold on. Wait. Let me answer your question. I understand in human history that the big fish eats the little fish. That's happened throughout all
and
our
time
human
again.
history, right? I'm not saying that it's right. I'm saying that it happens right now in 2023. There are 30 million slaves.
And I say that it deserves to be an open conversation that we need to debate back and forth
man,
about
that's
because
like PC
at the
bullshit.
end of the day, nobody.
That's PC bullshit.
It's not PC bullshit.
Yeah, it is.
How can you say that anybody deserves to be at the beck and call
I'm
of
not saying
anybody
that
else?
They deserve it. I'm saying that it
So
happened.
when it
and
comes
that-
to slave, just so I know, you do have a stance on it, right? You don't think anybody should be a slave?
I don't think slavery should happen.
Nice.
It's not
But
fair
it
as a,
does
as
happen.
a, as a
I just
it
wanted to
does
get a stance
happen.
out of you.
How
Yeah.
do we fix it? I'm not battling you
It
saying that
depends
you're
on-
wrong.
listen.
I'm saying how do me and you meet in the middle to figure out how the fuck this gets
I'm going to say
fixed?
this. Look, there were slaves that were really struggling in Africa,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I'm going to say this, and this is kind of bold. The African Americans today.
Why are
were-
they called
hold-
African American today?
just let
They're
me finish
3
my thought.
generations in. They're not just Americans.
Okay.
Okay,
The Americans today, the Black Americans. I don't know. I'm trying to just prove a point here.
But again, we're
would
divide
you
and
call them?
conquer.
What would you call them?
Divide and conquer. Americans.
Okay, the
They've
Americans
lived
today.
here for
How
2
would,
centuries.
how would you differentiate somebody?
I'm not
that's
even
black,
American.
then I-
I'm
no, no, no.
Italian, Irish, and
I'm just
fucking
saying,
Native
but
American.
I don't wanna
so
get caught
I'm
up-
not
hold on,
at the
hold
end
on.
of the
Let's
day.
take it here, let's take it
Technically,
here.
I'm not even American either. Then, right?
Let's take it down a little
No,
bit.
no,
Just
American is
how
if
would
you're
you
born here.
how would you ask that
Exactly.
he
So they're born
describes
here.
the
So
person?
why do we keep referring to them as African Americans?
I agree with you.
They're Americans.
Yes.
But
We're
for,
all on
for
the
the
same
sake of
page.
conversation.
We're all on the same
I'm
page.
just saying for the sake of conversation, not
You want to have the sake of conversation, but you keep trying to break down my point to where we got to where we need the sake of fucking conversation. Do you understand that?
No,
I
he
just
doesn't.
want to concentrate and focus on the fact that the African Americans today were put in a better spot. This is my opinion. Better spot today.
So because it's better than shit, it's
Hold
better
on, wait.
than.
Let me just finish my point before you. They're put in a better
Come on,
spot.
Cheri.
There are more.
I'm sorry.
listen to
I'm
understand,
sorry.
not
I'm
just
listening
talk.
to. I'm listening to understand. I'm gonna listen to understand.
All
I'm
right.
gonna shut up.
Either
5 minutes.
Here's the thing: either the African Americans were brought over here to succeed, right, or they're stuck in Africa as slaves. What is
you're
the better option?
So you're telling me
I'm
that
asking
there's
you a question.
So no.
Come
so
to America
What
to
you're telling me is that there's no option in Africa for them to be better.
I'm asking you a very specific
Touché.
question.
You're telling me that there's no option
do
in
you
Africa for them to be better.
Okay,
Yet
so-
they had to be removed by
We need to get some slaves
Caucasians
on this show
to
to
come to
really get a
America
good point of view.
be provided a better life, where they're still referred to
All right,
as
all right.
African Americans instead of Americans, because they were born on this soil and inherited the same innate freedoms that me and yourself were offered by
So do
being
you
Caucasians
think right
on
now,
this.
today, in 2023, that an African American is better in America or in Africa? Tell me. Just answer the question.
Are we in South Africa or,
No, no.
or another part of Africa?
Any part of Africa.
But Africa's
Well,
a
it
big
depends.
continent, bro.
Any
That's
part
so
of
different.
Africa.
You can't say
I'm-
that.
I'm-
You can't
I'm
say that
asking a
because
very
if,
specific
okay,
question.
Hold
so
on,
if
hold
you
on.
was born in Indiana or you was born in New York,
Cheri.
which place
Wait,
do
no,
you
hold
have
on.
better
I
fucking?
am
guys,
asking a very
guys.
very specific question.
I think the focus of his question is central. I mean, it's coming back down to, is America not the best place for Black people right now?
That's
I'm
not
asking
no
a very
no.
specific question.
Have they been
Is
afford?
an African American, or let's say an African in general, are they better in America
Do people
or in
in
Africa?
America have better options than most of the universe?
All right.
Yes.
But you're
however,
you're deflecting the question and
Yeah, I'm
answering
not
your own
deflecting
question.
it. You
though.
guys are trying to act like
No,
what
no,
we
it's not even
did
you
was
guys.
acceptable
All I'm-
because we provided them a better opportunity today
Nobody's
than
saying
what
that.
was provided
Hey,
into
nobody's saying that.
Africa.
Cheri, please.
That's not fair.
But nobody is saying that.
That's not
saying that.
fair.
Nobody's saying that. The only question, and I just want to hear what the answer is, because again, I don't really know what the goal of the question is, but it is a question that can easily be answered.
Mm-hmm.
The question is like, do you think Black people are better off in America right now or in Africa?
I can't say that because I don't know what Africa offers. South
come
Africa
on.
offers plenty of opportunity. My best
There's a
friend
lot of civil
from
war in
Florida
Africa.
was offered many exponential opportunities in South Africa. I don't live there. I have
right.
no
Well,
clue.
I'm gonna-
we
I'm-
can say
so
that
just say I don't know then.
it being in America, being in a capitalistic
say I don't know.
environment offers
just say I
them
don't know.
certain things.
I'm gonna tell you
However,
in a lot-
I don't
and-
But don't
disagree
say
that,
that he's just-
removing
he's not-
them or that slavery was the answer to this. That
Nobody
doesn't work for
is
me.
saying that.
Nobody's saying that.
That doesn't work
I'm just
for
trying
me.
to. I'm just trying to extrapolate. We know right now there's a lot of African countries that
Mm-hmm.
are in civil war, right? So to say that maybe, hey, look, an African's better off in Africa than in America. Personally, I think that's bullshit. I think it's lying. I think it's self deflecting, and you're just not accepting the truth. To be born in this country is a privilege.
It is a privilege. I don't disagree with the privilege
For
of being
people-
born in America.
Okay, hold
However,
on.
to
You're, like,
say
totally
that
talking over me.
what came prior to that is acceptable because of the fact of the privilege that we
Listen,
offer.
that's-
I don't know if I
But he
agree
didn't
with that.
say that.
I
He
didn't say any
that.
of that. I'm saying America has
Trust
taken
me,
a,
I'm not usually on his side. I'm just
America has
for
taken
the accuracy.
a lot of
that's all.
strides
They have.
fix
We have.
or
We
answer
have.
to
We have.
You're an
to
American.
fix or
We have.
answer
I
to
am an American.
to the scar. The scar on the face of America is slavery, right?
It is.
But the reality is, let's take the full picture. Africans were enslaving Africans. Can we accept that?
We can definitely accept that,
Okay.
but to say that being brought somewhere other than their country,
Right.
where they could have assets and probability for people who have been exponentially beneficial to the American society,
Yep.
to be applicated to the African society, to say that they wouldn't be exponentially beneficial there is wrong. We need to.
Say that
we
again.
Need,
I'm
so,
sorry.
all
I just
right.
want to. I want to
Okay.
make sure I understand.
To say
Yep.
that someone of African descent
Yep.
who was brought over to the United States who
Sure.
added exponential value to us, like George Washington Carver, who created peanut butter, just to give an example.
Sure.
Okay?
Sure.
Added to the American asset. If they were left in Africa, to say they wouldn't do the same thing is wrong, because Africa could be exponentially better than what it is right now
all those
had
slaves
we
didn't get-
not removed.
But that's all speculation.
It may be speculation or not, but you want to keep
But,
playing
well, it's
the
speculation
what
both
I'm saying
ways.
is,
Okay, hold on.
everybody,
Whoa,
not
whoa,
you
whoa.
necessarily. You want to.
I know, I
We're
understand.
saying that we want to play the African. This started from the African American
dying.
title, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so to say that if
You're
they
speculating.
were not,
Can we
to
say that you're speculating? You're speculating.
we're
Well, you gotta let
speculating
her get
because
her
the
point out. Okay, you gotta let her
Caucasians
get her
took the
point out.
fucking Africans from fucking Africa, so we really don't know. But
Right.
at the end of the day, to say that the African Americans who didn't add exponential value to America would not have done the same thing in Africa to make Africa exponentially valuable here. It's all
Yeah,
speculation.
either side of that is
All right.
speculative.
It's
So
all
that's fine.
speculation.
That is-
so I don't want to argue the point of saying that they're better off here today
All right.
than they would have been
Well,
in their home country had they been
That's all
left
bullshit.
alone
Yeah, I'm
to
a-
value their
That's
own
all
home
bullshit.
country. We don't know that.
No, we do know
we
that.
don't know that.
No, hold
You
on.
said
You're
yourself it's
stating that
it's a
you're
privilege to be
stating
born
that
in
a
this country.
culture. You're stating
on,
that
wait,
a
wait,
culture,
hold on, wait.
if left
Can we-
intact,
let's clear the
would not
palate
have
real
been
fast.
better.
Yeah.
Hold on, wait. Let's clear the
Well,
palate
let's do
really
two
fast.
things.
Focus.
Let's clear the palate and let's keep the volume so it's digestible for,
Right,
for the
right.
listeners.
Correct.
All right.
Correct.
I just want to state that there are
I'm not
more.
singling anybody out. It's just like women be loud as fuck.
Sherry's loud as
No,
fuck.
no,
I get
that's
it. I always own it.
There
Sherry's
are
loud as
more
fuck.
successful.
I'm not even blaming anybody.
It's okay. I'll take ownership.
There
I
are
take
more-
accountability
there are
for my
more-
actions.
Would you agree to this? There are more successful black people in America than there are in any other country in the world.
How do you know how successful they would have
It's
been in
statistic.
Africa
I'm talking
if they
about-
were left there? How statistical do you
Yep.
know that they would have been successful in Africa had we left them there? You don't know. It's
wait, hold on,
speculation.
wait.
So I really don't
That's
want
not
to keep
speculation.
It is.
There are more millionaires, black millionaires
If we
in
left
America.
them, if we left them in
You're
Africa,
saying
do
that
you
they
know
would
if
have been
Africa?
millionaires?
Do you know that they wouldn't have been?
Of course,
How do you say that?
because America is the most successful country on the globe.
Because we stole fucking labor.
Whatever it may be, I'm not disagreeing
So
with you.
if
I'm
they
just
were
saying
left in their own country,
they would
to
never have been
proceed-
successful.
I disagree with you.
Well,
So we
how
can,
can-
Okay,
we
you
can
got to
agree
quantify that.
to disagree.
No, hold on. You're
I
saying
just
that.
quantified it.
No,
I said,
no,
had they
no,
been
no,
left in their own country,
no.
had they been left in their own country,
Jerry, stop
they would have
riling
been
her
more
up.
successful.
I don't know that. It's speculation.
But I do know
just
that
like
'cause-
it's speculation here that you assume that they're more successful
No.
here.
You're totally like.
Well, I mean, to
Josh,
be fair,
what's
to
your
be
fear?
fair,
What's your share in this?
I'm just kind of enjoying the show right now. To be fair, bro, like your point is also speculation. You know what I mean? Like, here's
No,
what I will
it's-
say.
it's
Hold on.
statistic.
I will say it is very unlikely that as many millionaires would be millionaires in Africa, just because they would be there now. You know,
But
like
how
where
do we know that? We took all their resources.
all of them.
A good portion of it, 80%.
What? We
When
took
I stick to
80%.
the
We took
when I take the
80%.
80%, when I stick to the 80-20 rule, how do we know we didn't take 80%
Hold on,
of their
I
talent?
wanna know if that number's accurate.
How do we know we didn't take 80%
Brandon,
of their talent?
During
you
the
can't
slave
quantify
trade,
that.
what percentage of humans did we take from Africa?
You're totally making up numbers.
I'm playing devil's advocate.
Well, I
I'm
know,
but
really
you're making
not-
up numbers.
I'm really not trying to go off any factual. And I stated
you wanna
this.
succeed on this globe, you come to America.
I'm gonna
Sherry,
state. I
Sherry.
see 6%. I see your 6% up there. However,
So what
I'm
are the
still
other
gonna
94% of motherfuckers
I'm still
doing?
gonna fight to the fact that you guys can't say that.
Can't say
There's
what?
anomalies in everything. There's anomalies in
no,
everything.
You
we-
say
listen-
that you're open to education.
Okay,
We're giving
so
you
in
the
America,
facts.
how many people are
Listen,
rich?
listen,
How
listen.
many people are
Listen,
rich in
listen,
America?
listen, listen.
How many people are rich in America?
You gotta
How
be
many
better
people
at
are rich in
dialogue.
America?
You
How
have to
many
be better at
motherfucking people
dialogue.
are rich in
You gotta,
America?
like-
How many people are rich in
You gotta
America?
Sherry.
1%. 1%.
No.
So if we
Come on.
took 6% of their population,
That means only 1% of that 6% would be like rich.
exactly, but we still took that 1%.
Yeah.
It's not a fair
They got
argument.
another 94%
It's
they
not
can fucking work with.
We got another 94 fucking percent that don't
So-
do shit in America.
You're right in the sense that we can't say definitively.
We can't.
No,
so
no, no.
that's all I'm
Hold
saying.
on,
Let's
hold on.
open the
Let me finish
conversation.
it up.
Let's hear
Stop
each
with the
other.
open the conversation stuff. We're literally doing that. We've been
We are.
having a conversation
All day. All
But what
day.
you can say is like,
She's
if
passionate
you
about her.
if you believe in numbers and likelihood, the likelihood of all of the
The
black
1% being in that
millionaires,
6% is high.
the likelihood of all the black millionaires in America today,
Mm-hmm.
that they would also be millionaires in Africa is low,
Very low.
very low.
The case of the fact being, we took away for them to
6%.
represent themselves.
6% of them.
We did. But let's talk about African politics. Nelson Mandela.
I don't know anything about
if
African
they
politics.
had the same opportunity in Africa that they had in America, it'd be a different conversation.
So let me ask you,
But I still
based off
want
of what
to
you're
say
saying-
it's not acceptable to justify the fact that we gave them a better
Nobody's
fucking
justifying
opportunity.
that.
It sounds very
No,
justification.
that's in your head though. Like
But
he's
I'm
not saying that. I'm not saying that.
I'm saying it sounds like that when we have that argument. Instead of hearing everybody out and just having
not
that
saying that
argument,
slavery is good.
it sounds justificational.
I'm not saying that slavery is good.
I'm not accusing you of saying that's
I'm
exactly
saying
what it
that-
is. What I'm saying is when you have that conversation and don't open the fact to the point that there could have been 1% in that 6% of fucking billionaires or millionaires or trillionaires or
Yeah.
fucking successful people that we robbed from their society in order to make America
There could have been, you're right.
exponentially better. I say that we still have the open to dialogue. I'm
Right.
not arguing that you're wrong. I always sat on that.
I
fuck.
don't know.
I'm
You're
not
right- you're
saying
riding
you're
the fence. You're riding the
100%
fence.
wrong.
You're riding
I'm
the fence.
saying I'm still willing to challenge your thoughts.
Well,
as
you can't
the
challenge- you can't
certain
challenge thoughts
point
with, like, but
and
what ifs?
say,
You know, like what if isms aren't challenging a thought.
what if isms aren't?
Isms.
But
No, it's
what
not, 'cause-
if isms aren't? However,
Because the point you're
we
making
still
is
did
crazy.
it.
You know, like you're making a point that is like, is it possible? Yes. I'm saying I agree with you. It's possible, but it's unlikely because there's still 94% of Africans that weren't brought over here.
Even if we took 6%
Let me ask
of
a
the
very-
millionaires from
Hold
there,
on.
even if we took
So hold on. So you think when they
6%
rounded them up, they
of the
just got they
millionaires from there,
coincidentally got the best 6% of the people,
even if they happen to
the
do,
ones that got caught.
even
Like,
if they happen to do, it's still justifiable.
no,
I
no.
don't see where
you're,
it's justifiable.
You're saying
at.
that you're the only person in this whole podcast that said the sentence "slavery is justifiable." He's never said it, and I've
I'm not
never said
saying
it.
that, yeah.
Like nobody has said
But
that.
because they're in a better place,
They are in
that
a better
makes
place.
it
Would you agree
justifiable.
with that?
No, it's
How
not.
is that? How to say
It's-
that
you don't know.
somebody
What
is
was
in
the
a
word you
better
used
place
earlier?
is worth slavery?
No, no, no.
All right, hold on.
I don't agree with that.
It's-
That's the,
You know what
that's
it
the
is?
concept
No.
I can't wrap my head around.
It's just collateral damage. It doesn't justify that they were
Let's
brought
take
over
a
here.
shot. Let's all
but
take a
it's-
shot.
But you know what I mean? It's just kind of like the end result has this generation of black people in America doing better than they probably would have
just
had they
don't-
stayed in Africa.
Okay, so I'm gonna.
And I don't
say-
even know if I agree with that.
I'm
I think that's the
I'm
point
gonna
Jay was trying to
say
make.
I
Yes.
just don't like the argument.
Africa doesn't even have
that
an
they're
NBA.
in a better place is justifiable to say that the aggression
But we know that they're-
Nobody
happens
thinks it's
from America
justifiable.
is probable for what took place. That's how I feel. Did we put them in a better position, or are there more opportunities to certain things? That's arguable. That's arguable. Where do they fall on the fucking financial scale? Are they the top 1%?
All right, let's-
Are they middle
well,
class?
okay,
Are
we can
they
answer that
poor?
question, though.
Because if they're poor and it's at
Let's
an
look at
exponential
Africa
rate,
today.
how do we feel that that's
All right,
better?
well, let's look at Africa today. Would
Brandon,
Because they're poor and
Brandon,
they're
hold
not,
on.
that
Wait,
makes it
no,
Look
better.
at
wait,
these
hold on,
questions.
wait.
I like Brandon's question.
do
there.
you think that
my question. Is
that
What's
Africa
Brandon's?
Right here, look.
today is
Let's engage with this because we're talking in circles here.
Canada is North America?
No,
so-
go to the next one. Here's my question. Is anyone really considered an American? Unless you're Native American, are you American?
Well, if you're born in this country, you're American.
That's what I would say. Canada is North America, so wouldn't they also be Americans?
So then why do we
fuck them.
keep
That's
having this
Canadian.
minority majority conversation if we're all Americans, whether I'm
because
Italian,
ethnicity exists.
Irish,
It matters.
it does matter.
It
It,
might
matters
not
in
even-
our
I
cultural
don't even-
development.
I don't even
but
know
if
if
we want
matters
to
is the
have
right
the
word.
American discussion and say that people are better off in America, they have to be treated like an American and not a sub-American in order to receive
There's a very
the
specific
values
reason
of that freedom.
why people fight and die to come to this country.
I agree.
Because America is the land of opportunity.
Mind you, I want to thank all our servicemen and all our first responders
All right.
for
You're
their
welcome.
service and everything, because that is definitely an admirable
Sure,
quality.
that's yeah.
Whatever.
I don't know.
However,
I disagree with you. I think it's just a job, but that's
Would
another
you do it?
conversation. Yes.
Let me ask you personally,
Cheri,
Cheri,
I'm a
would you
veteran.
rather live in Sudan or would you rather live in America?
I would rather live in America
Why?
because of our freedoms and what we have established.
So,
However,
okay,
that doesn't
all right.
mean that I'm
If that
not willing
appli-
to
wait,
challenge
wait,
what's
wait, wait,
wrong.
whoa, guys.
If that applies to you, right? You're. Would you think that any being, not, I don't give a fuck who you are, is better off in America or in Sudan?
They're better off in America. However,
thank
but
you.
when they're subcategorized,
I don't give a fuck
I'm
if
an
they're
American
subcategorized.
first. I'm an American. That's
You
not
think-
fair.
wait, hold on,
That's
wait,
not
wait.
fair. I'm
You-
an American first.
I'm gonna ask
But
you a very
however,
specific
the
question.
subcategories of people below me
Wait,
are
I'm
in
gonna ask
different
you a very
more people
specific
that
question.
that are subcategories
I get it.
underneath what an American is.
I understand what
That's
you're
not
saying.
Fair.
I accept
That's
what you're
not
saying.
fair.
Do you think that an African is better off in America or in Africa? That's very specific.
I'm still gonna vote America just because we live in America.
Okay, so
however,
then we agree.
However, you still can't say. You still can't say that it's okay for them to be subcategorized as Americans when we literally just planted, and it's not even just in Africa.
The
It
worst
flows over
parts
into
of America-
Irish. It flows over into Italian.
Can I say this?
It flows over into a
Would you agree to
bunch
this
of different
statement?
areas.
The worst part of America is still more successful than the majority of countries
Yes,
on the globe.
I would agree with that
Okay,
statement.
all right. So then we're saying the same thing.
We
right.
are saying the same thing, but
Yes.
I'm willing to have the fight with you on the stuff that
It's
I
not even a
disagree
fight.
with.
We're agreeing.
So you're both agreeing that like
Yeah.
slavery was justified because they're doing okay now.
No.
That's what it sounds.
No.
You both fist bumped to it.
No. No, we're not gonna do that. I don't
right.
think it was justified.
It wasn't. No shit. Nobody thinks it was
I
justified,
don't think
bro.
it was justified in any way.
Nobody
and I don't
thinks
think
that.
that it's also fair to this day that they're labeled as less than an American. They're Americans first.
Hold on.
That's
Who's
emotional.
labeling?
That's
Yeah.
not statistical.
Who labels
That's-
anybody as less than an American?
Right. That's emotional.
Are
When
you
we
talking about the
when
language
we
of
put
African American?
Subcategories in front
Yeah,
of
but you know,
stuff.
hold
So
on.
I have
Cheri,
I have
stop,
two
stop,
multiracial
please.
children.
Listen,
and when
you
it
guys
comes
have
to-
been going on for
no,
hours.
No,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
wait
I
a
mean,
second.
I get you have black kids. It's fine. It's fair. I love them.
No,
I love them all.
No.
But here's the thing. All that is just language. You'll talk to 100 black people, and I promise you, some
language is
listen,
important.
Listen, it's important to you, but the way you
Language is
feel
important
about it
in
is
general.
not. No. It's what you feel is important is not important to everybody. Like if you talk to 100 black people, do you think all of them have the same shared thing?
No,
like I want to be
don't.
called black or I want to be
That's
called
why
African
I said
American.
open the conversation.
No. But it's just language. You know, like there's no offense intended to it.
When I go into,
if black people want to be
can I
called
argue
black,
one
then that's
point?
what we call it.
Can
It
I
doesn't
argue
matter.
one point? Can I argue one point? When I go into a medical facility and I have to identify my child as of Hispanic descent or not of Hispanic descent, what does it matter? He came out of my white vagina
Can you just
to
put?
his Hispanic child.
Can you put prefer not to answer? Like,
Can you
do
elaborate on white
don't
vagina?
Have we don't have the chance to do that
You
all
can't
the
just
time.
leave that blank.
No,
They won't take care of the kid.
They will eventually
We
take
don't
care
know
of
if
the
he's
kid, but
Spanish
they're
or
going to
not.
ask you to answer the question.
don't
So
know.
I decide to play devil's advocate and answer here, there, everywhere, and whatever the case may be.
Well, that's good.
But what I'm saying
What
is,
if that data is pertinent for like medical history? If we can see that certain ethnicities are more likely to have certain conditions.
But if he's not recorded as white, how do you know that it's only the Spanish ethnicity that's that? If I'm allowed to mark him as of Hispanic descent, but not Caucasian also, how can your data be accurate?
I don't know. That's so irrelevant to
Exactly
me.
my point. The fact of the matter is, I think we subcategory we put everybody into a subcategory. We divide and
Brandon
conquer.
is Cambodian. Do you think that he should be offended by the term Cambodian American?
Do you think you're a Cambodian American or an American American? Were you born here or not?
American.
So do you feel sometimes judged by the subcontext of Cambodian American?
And sometimes.
Cool. Do you think all Cambodians feel that same way?
Some probably don't even notice.
So I think it's like no. I don't think
I
the
just say
intent
it's a
of African American or
conversation. I
Cambodian.
just think it's a
Yeah, but it's like-
conversation that needs to be had because at the end of the day,
It doesn't need to
we
be had
as
because
Americans
it's
need
been
to
had, though.
own the fact
No, it's
that
been had.
everybody is American who has been
sure,
born
yeah,
here.
Again, you're doing like this pandering thing. Like you're making your tone is like you're instilling something in me that I don't agree with. But you're-
It's not that. It's I want to be heard because
you have been heard though.
No,
you
but
keep saying the
because-
same thing, but and what you're saying is happening. It's not like it's not happening. This is not anything like enlightening.
Would you agree with
These
that?
conversations
Hold
happen
on one
all the
second.
time.
Hold on one
You
second.
didn't
Not
let me
from
finish.
not from a
No,
Caucasian
I'm not gonna
standpoint.
hold on.
Not from a Caucasian standpoint. Would you
Caucasian?
agree with that? Would you agree with that?
Can you say, agree with what?
That the fact that everybody is American first and then subcategorized later. Do you agree with that?
No, nothing.
What are you even saying?
I'm saying that the fact that we're Americans first is so everybody argued the fact that we brought Africans over here and we gave them a better opportunity by having them in America. But yet still in this day in 2023 we do not refer to them as American. So therefore I asked somebody
Who
who's
is
not
we?
Caucasian.
Who is we?
Somebody who's other than Caucasian. Me and you are Caucasian. He's not Caucasian.
I'm a
He's
first generation American.
My Caucasian?
I am too.
For the record.
I am too. Just so you know, my
Right.
grandparents,
Am I
my
Caucasian?
well actually,
My
I'm second
father floated
generation.
here on a
My
boat.
great
On
grandparents
a
are
boat.
from Italy.
Door.
However, do you feel
I
coming
Caucasian?
into America that you are accepted as an American first, and then whatever you are second?
Cambodian first.
Am I Caucasian?
Are you Caucasian?
I'm asking.
How do you identify? Were you raised by a Caucasian mother or a Filipino father? Or a
Does that matter?
Filipino
Does it
mother
matter? Does
or
that
a
matter?
Caucasian father? It does.
So your
because
kids aren't black
nature-
because they were raised by a white woman?
Not necessarily.
Do you hear how
because-
crazy that sounds?
No. Because I'm going to explain. Because I've done the due diligence to make sure that my kids were involved in their
culture?
in their second culture.
But if you hadn't, would they not be black?
they would still be black.
Right.
They
So
would
how
still
they
be
were
black
raised,
by
it does
definition.
not matter.
It does affect some things. It does
I
affect
didn't
some
say
things.
it affects some things, but it doesn't have any indication on what your ethnicity is.
No, but why should
Okay.
I refer to them as this or that when they're Americans?
You can refer to them however you want. At the end of the day, we're all Americans, but we're not going to, like Jay said earlier, there's no reason to.
I wouldn't allow everybody to agree with that because everybody
Yeah,
doesn't
you don't
agree
need
with
to
that.
allow anything.
You agree with that. You
It
agree
doesn't-
with that.
no,
Everybody's
but most
American.
people do. That's the thing. Like we're kind of fabricated.
speaking
I
for
think that's the
everybody?
problem. I'm saying most people. I think that's a big problem that
Because
we have
it's
in
the
this country,
majority and the
is that it's-
Caucasians?
It's so safe, and we just make up problems.
We don't make up problems.
We-
We
this
have
is a
to
made-up
address the
problem.
fact it's not.
If you talk to most people would assume that we're all Americans. But I know that you're American, Brandon, but obviously like look at you and look at me and look at Cheri. There's a difference somewhere there. I'm just curious, where's your family from? Like it might not be your mother, it might not be your father, your grandpa, but eventually like we came from somewhere different. I'm just curious what that is.
But when
There's
you have
nothing
to
wrong
fill
with
out
that.
governmental fucking
Oh, but that's a totally different
paperwork,
situation.
you still have to identify yourself, correct?
That's something that's totally different
It's
though.
not though.
It is.
Which burns
'Cause we
back
were
to
talking
our
about
systemic
language.
racism
right,
in
all right.
America because we have
It's
to
time to wrap this
identify
one up.
everybody's not American.
It's time to wrap
If,
this
if,
one up.
if there was no systemic
We're
racism,
speaking in
everybody
circles.
would be American. Do you disagree? Do you want to have this conversation a little
Do you
bit
want-
harder? Because
Hey,
I'm
whoa.
standing against
No-
by myself.
no Cambodians on the mic.
Exactly. Okay. But like I'm saying, I'm willing to take the arrows. I'm willing to take the bullets.
Oh.
I'm just saying, at the
No,
end
no,
of the
no,
day,
listen.
Hey, it's you know,
Don't-
you know,
don't-
like,
don't
bro, you
apply
know the
nobility.
meme. You know the meme with like the white woman with the blue hair, like getting carried out by all the Africans.
why does she got a blue hair? Why does she gotta have blue hair? Because I
Yo,
have
it's
blue
just
hair.
like,
That's
listen,
very.
I'll take the
What I'm
arrows for the
saying
minorities.
is, what I'm saying is, at the end of the day, if everybody wants to be an American, I'm all for that. But let's treat everybody as equal Americans.
Well,
which
everybody's
we
not
know,
equal.
granted, in 2023, is still not a factual thing, regardless of
absolutely
whether
is.
It is,
we
though.
drag
That's the
them
thing, it
over
is.
from somewhere
It
else
is.
or some shit happened or
even
whatever
at
the case may be.
inconvenience of everybody else, it is though. Everybody is legally
disagree with
treated
you.
the same way.
I disagree with you.
You can disagree all you want. Like I could tell you this is a blue table. It doesn't make it
You
right.
don't have to make a comment, but the fact that you just laughed lets me know everything I need to know.
Yeah. So, anyways, this was fun. This was a good time. We thank Cheri for coming. We thank Brandon and the other Brandon for engaging online. And
I'm just saying, I love everybody. I want everybody to be happy and to have a equal right
You're
and
right.
an equal say, an equal communication. I don't necessarily agree with where
just
our
let her take
country
this one.
started from,
Closing arguments.
but I definitely agree that we are a round table of a place that is freedom and love, and we need to represent that to the wholeheartedest.
Hey,
point
everything
we
that
can.
Sherry just said is bullshit. Don't fucking listen to people like her. She don't know what the fuck she's talking
I
about.
can't stand you, Jay. Come on, Josh, fill it
You're
out.
gonna
fill it
fucking
out.
love
She's just
me.
pandering.
Yeah, she's pandering
Okay,
to all the
can we
fucking.
finish off with you? Because I really respect you. He's like, yeah, no, I cut the mic. I cut
Why,
the mic.
why do you respect him anymore? Or less?
Because he's minority and he
I
looks
don't- it's not-
minority.
it's not
That's
that I
what it is.
That's what
He
it
looks
is.
It's not
minority.
that. It's not that I respect him
identity
anymore or anything
politics.
like that. I want to make sure that everybody has a voice, and we all look very alike. We're all Italian Americans, fucking. In I don't know.
I'm
if
not
you are.
Italian.
I'm not. I
He's
don't know
not
if you
Italian.
are. I'm
Cheri,
just
I
saying.
think,
In
I think you have a
general,
little.
we all.
Everybody
all,
says I
I
look
don't think you
Mexican.
realize
Are
how
you
white you
Caucasian?
are.
Are you Caucasian?
I'm
to
half
any extent?
Caucasian.
Okay.
Do
Are
I
you
look like
Caucasian?
a-
Are you Caucasian?
No.
Half.
Are you Caucasian?
No.
What are you?
Colombian.
Only Colombian.
Half Colombian.
And what else?
White.
Okay, so you're Caucasian,
I get-
and
yeah,
I'm
but what is
Caucasian.
what?
So the fact that we're all Caucasians in America, I respect the opinion of somebody who's a non-Caucasian in America. Period. That's all I'm saying. Somebody who is the minority of the
Were you
80-20
were you born
rule.
here?
Can we have everybody
you born
be
here?
free
Do I
to
deserve a
expression?
voice?
Were you born here?
Yes.
Okay,
wait.
and that
She's
reads back-
discrediting my mother's like the fact that my parents are immigrants. She's
I'm not
discrediting.
discrediting it.
Like,
I'm not discrediting it, any of it.
my father came from Ireland. My mother came from the Philippines.
So you're a first generation American.
I'm first
I
generation
am as
American.
well. My grandparents came from Italy,
You're a
and
crack
my
ass
other grandparents
cracker.
came
That's what
from
you are.
No, your
Ireland.
parents. Where were your parents?
You're a
born?
crack
from
ass
here.
cracker.
That's not first
From here.
generation. Then.
But
You're
it's-
second generation.
Okay, second generation, whatever the case may
So
be.
you're white. At that point, you're just white.
Okay, but I'm saying we're all just. Okay.
No. We
I'm done. I'm done.
we
I'm
know
done.
the struggle.
I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm
We
done.
deal
Okay,
with
Josh,
this shit.
you have your point, and I look. Everybody, high five. I love you.
Yeah,
All right, you saltine ass cracker.
I love you.
Oh shit! Always these white people, bro.
All right,
trying
those-
to-
I know, trying to fucking push some shit on us fucking minorities.
Trying to tell us.
what it's like to live in America.